Ladies and gentlemen, it is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. Well, President Trump has a big prime time speech tonight, and the normies are freaking out because you're getting push notifications and headlines and every network and this whole big deal about it, this big fuss. And I'm going to explain why this is significant and how it plays into what I try to remind the audience here every day. Most people just do not follow politics. They just don't do it. So they hear Trump's going to speak tonight, and they just think, wow, this must be something big. They're not seeing Trump every single day for hours speaking in front of the American people. They're just not seeing it, but they will see this tonight. And so that is significant. So when we play some of these other clips today, like Trump telling you don't care about high gas prices and Trump confused why his approval rating is down, even though just 2 weeks ago they said it was 100%. Well, it's kind of all the same issue here. The Trump administration is not connected to the average person anymore, and the average person isn't really connected to politics anymore. And so there's this divide that's going to be bridged tonight at 8 p.m. Central, and I will be covering it live. And you know I'm so excited for that. I'm so pumped for another Trump speech tonight. What do you think it's going to be? How great he is and how great everything is? Greatest we've ever seen, I'm sure. So there you go. Now on the news front, we do have some news. We do have some statements from President Trump, specifically in regards to the ongoing war. What are we, day number 32 now? I believe day number 32, about officially they say, yeah, day 33, $38 billion. That's probably way low. I'd say it's at least double that. But that's the number that we have. And then we have a bunch of other developments around the world as far as this war is concerned. And the question now is, and we're going to go to a clip of Michael Savage today. Michael Savage turned 84 yesterday. One of the main inspirations on my broadcasting career, Michael Savage. And I want to play a little clip from him yesterday. And Michael Savage is very close to President Trump. In the past, he's been very good friends with President Trump. I think he's kind of been pushed out as far as the gatekeeping is concerned. I think Savage has been pushed to the sidelines for this administration, and they've replaced him with the likes of Mark Levin, because Savage used to be very, very close to Trump in his first administration and before that. So it's very important to hear Michael Savage. And, of course, Savage comes from a different generation, and Savage does have interests in Israel and is not a fan of the Muslims. So you kind of have to weigh all of these different categories here. And then when you hear him speak today, it'll make a lot more sense. But the question is, and Savage is not necessarily asking this question, but it's going the direction. The question is, if Trump comes out and just declares victory tonight and says, we won, it's all over, we're getting out of there, and we'll talk about these potentials, can he even do that anymore? Is it even possible for Trump to just pull out of this war and declare victory after everything that's been done? We'll cover it all in the news today. A Bongino story. So Bongino, he can't get anything anymore as far as relevancy is concerned. That is until he decides to get into the mudslinging online, which he did again yesterday. And there's really three things. We're going to look at three things today. It's three separate things that are merging into one that embarrassed Dan Bongino.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
Guys, there's these stories all the time. You've probably heard about it. Maybe you know somebody that's been through it. Maybe you've been through it. Maybe you've seen one of these emails warning you about it. And that is your digital information being available and or stolen online. Now, this is a obnoxious thing to have to deal with. And maybe depending on who you are or who gets access to it, depends on how bad it might get. For me, it was really bad. For me, I had my private information leaked and then my family's private information leaked. And this led to a series of criminal activity against me and my family. Yes, my family. That was not fun. So there's a solution, though. There's a solution for you. All you got to do is go to patriot-protect.com/Owen. So here's the story. Your private information, phone number, email, address, who knows, passwords, credit card numbers, social security numbers, what all could be available online? Well, one person gets access to this stuff. Maybe they hack into one of these online databases, and then they can sell it to as many people as they want. It's open sale on the internet. So you need to be doing something about it. This is where Patriot Protect comes in. They will find all of your private information that is posted online, and they will get rid of it. They will erase it. It will be gone. But the work doesn't stop there. They then monitor the internet 24/7, and anytime that information pops up, they're there to strike it down. That's what Patriot Protect does. So I didn't like my personal information being online. I didn't like criminals having access to it. I didn't like harassers using it against me and my family. So that's why I use Patriot Protect. And right now, if you go to patriot-protect.com/Owen, you can get 15% off any plan. That's right, listening audience, 15% off any of their digital protection, private information protection plans, 15% off at patriot-protect.com/Owen. Folks, this is a necessity now. It's the year 2026. You share all your private information with how many different sources now? The different streaming services, subscription services, all the different memberships you have. Everything is digital now. That's your private information. You want to protect it. You can't help but have to use it online. Protect it now. Patriot-protect.com/Owen. 15% off any plan for my listening audience.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Do you guys want me to monitor the moon mission today, Artemis 2? We're going around the moon. We're not putting boots on the ground. That's the theme, at least. Who knows now? That's the theme. What are you more interested in watching? The moon, the Artemis 2, do a lap around the moon. Actually, they're going to do a lap around the Earth. So they're going to do a lap around the Earth. They say they're going to slingshot it and then go do a lap around the moon and then come back. So they're saying this is going to happen in a couple of hours now. It looks like they're going to get clearance on the weather. Do you guys want to watch that? Or would you rather watch, we have the Iran war cost tracker on the screen here. Would you rather watch this number hit 38 billion? We're probably just moments away. It's a race against time, actually. It's a race against time. What is going to happen first? The war in Iran costing us 38 billion or Artemis 2 taking off? I've got 38 billion. That's what I'm going with. What would you rather watch out there, though? What interests you more, watching the cost of this war go up or watching a rocket go up? Or do you even believe that? What is your interest level in the rocket going to the moon? Of course, it's not actually going to the moon. It's going around the moon. Does that bother anyone else, by the way? They keep saying, we're going back to the moon. We're going back to the moon. Not really. If I fly over Chicago, did I go to Chicago? Is that how it works? If I'm flying from Austin, Texas to St. Louis, Missouri, and I fly over Dallas, did I go to Dallas? I guess it's a little different on a spaceship. I suppose we can accept that. So we're not actually going back to the moon. So what do you think then? Here's the only reason why I'm interested. And I don't think I have any of this in the news today. Well, actually, I believe one story made our final cut today. And that's 9 scientists have now gone missing recently. So it was one, and then one was killed, and another went missing, then another went missing. Now it's up to 9 in the science and even UFO department here. So that number's up to 9. And then we have all of this, whether it's meteors or satellites or UFOs, whatever is going on. We have all of this activity up in the skies that is getting recorded and filmed and published more than ever. And it's like, I'm not trying to turn this show into one of those shows. That's not really what we do here. I don't know. Maybe people would like it. But I could do a 3-hour broadcast. It's every night now. I could do a 3-hour broadcast and just show you all of these different videos from around the world of this aerial phenomenon. And some of them look the exact same. There seems to be like 3 or 4 different aerial phenomenon that are being caught on camera and published online. But it's virtually, you can tell it's similar. It's very similar to the things that are happening on other parts of the planet. And I'm wondering if these things aren't connected. That's my interest. Is this really about doing a lap around the moon, or are they going up there to do some recon for something else? Now we do have, I guess you could say, actually 2 stories on this, because we are going to go to Stephen Greer later on in the show today. Stephen Greer, who is featured in many documentaries. He's considered one of the leading experts with some of the most expertise and experience as far as UFOs and government alien relations, let's say. We're going to be hearing from him because he says something that we've all kind of been joking about, but it seems like we might actually see it now. It seems like whatever this is going on in the sky, there's something happening here. Whether it's man-made aircraft, military drills, stuff falling out of the sky, stuff being shot out of the sky, actual extraterrestrial life, something is going on. Now, I've seen different theories about this, and you just have to wonder. One theory that might explain some of the other political activity, and there might even be historical reference for this, by the way. There is a meteor belt or asteroid belt that comes near Earth every whatever amount of years. Earth is basically just like a giant clock, let's say. Basically is. It's like the whole universe is just a giant clock. So it's always on time. And maybe this has been responsible for past cataclysms on the planet and flooding and remaking the Earth's surface. So there's theories that we're entering this asteroid belt or this giant meteor shower as we do every 2,500 years, whatever it is. And you're going to just continue to see this increase in what is the outskirts, I suppose, of this giant asteroid belt, meteor shower belt. Maybe that makes sense. And then maybe they know something. Maybe this is secret history that the average person doesn't get access to. Maybe this is why our politicians are acting so strange and looking for bunkers. It's been called Planet X, Nibiru. That's kind of a different theory. Same basic principle, though. Another extraterrestrial body, another planet, whatever, comes into our atmosphere, our larger galaxy, or our larger solar system, and disrupts stuff. So I don't know. That's why I'm curious about the moon. I mean, I think there's legitimate questions. You spend all this time and money, and that you can't even get back on the moon. You can't even land back on the moon. This is how crazy it is. This is not an April. I do have an April Fool's Day kind of little stack today. It is April Fool's Day. I do have a little April Fool's Day stack. We can maybe have some fun. I got my Clown World shirt on. You know, it's all Clown World now. But I'll tell you what, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm just wondering because there's really not much buzz about this moon mission. There's really not. The buzz is all paid for. The buzz is all marketing. The buzz is all just social media marketing. A lot of it is paid. A lot of it is paid marketing. Of course, you know, the networks will cover it, but I mean, I'm looking at them right now. All you got is Fox News and CNN with one of the little boxes. Hey, maybe we can get our own little box. I could set up a little box. You know, DMT is begging me to plug the YouTube. Okay? He's begging me. He's sitting here. He's sending me messages. He's saying, why don't you plug the YouTube on the show? We need to grow those numbers. Plug the YouTube. Plug the Rumble. Plug X. Plug if people want to listen. We're on iHeart. We're on iTunes. We're on Spotify. He's sitting here begging me. So there you go. So there's my YouTube plug. But I'm going to have to ask a favor. You go to YouTube. You subscribe to the channel Owen Report. So that's for DMT making the request. Why don't you see if you can work some magic today? I'm already feeling loose today. We're already going to have an extended day because we got Trump live tonight. We're going to be covering that. Maybe we're going to the moon. See if you can do this. Get a live video shot of the moon launch, and let's do the let's put it in the bottom corner. Let's see if DMT can handle that today. What do you guys think in the chat? Think he can pull this one off? We're gonna find out. Nobody's talking about the moon landing. Well, the moon trip, let's say. I'm not getting any buzz. I'm not getting any organic buzz. Just not happening. So what's up with that? Why is there such a lack of interest? Is it just not cool anymore? Do people not believe it anymore? Do they think it's all fake and gay? Is it just old hat and it's just we have other things to worry about, other things we are concerned about?
Nearby a popular viewing location of rocket launches, and it is so great to see how many people are here. This is a Wednesday.
This is a that's DMT interrupting the show. Hey, I told him to do it. I can mute it. I can mute it right here, I think. Actually, I don't know. We're going to see what happens. Just mute it on your end. I'm going to do this. We're going to go into the news. Just mute it on your end. Make sure it's muted on your end. And then see if you can't work with some of these. So guys, if you see some weird stuff going on with the video, that's just DMT playing around. I'm giving him clearance to screw around live on the show today. That's how loosey-goosey we are today. It doesn't matter. This is all about listening anyway. This is all about the listening audience. This is all about a traditional broadcast. So we're gonna see if DMT can't set that up. But let's go to the news. Is a space interesting to you, or is it all just fake and gay? No, you cannot see Uranus. As far as I know, we're unable to see Uranus. I don't know, though. People really want to see Uranus. They probably can figure out a way to do it. but not here. All right. This message is so basically this is a message for DMT. You have to go into these different video selections in the digital studio and see if you can't find one, and you put that live feed in a little box and just put it in the corner. But don't worry about it. This is an experiment. We're just doing it live. Screw it, doing it live. I'm feeling that today. I'm feeling it to start April. And I'm also thinking too, screw it. Let's just go all the way. Yeah, you basically have to get a reverse of that, but you're on the right track. I'm also thinking, I think today is technically the old-fashioned New Year, by the way, when they switched the calendars. I'm not even going to go down the rabbit hole of them switching the calendars. That's a whole different thing. I think today technically is actually the real New Year, though. And it aligns with spring and the rebirth of life and everything else. This is actually, today I think is technically the New Year and the rebirth in spring. So it's kind of a New Year's broadcast, actually. But we won't go down that rabbit hole today. And I know it's going to be a long night with Trump. So we're feeling loosey-goosey today, guys. I hope you enjoy it. Grab yourself a cup of blackout coffee and just sit down and relax today on a New Year, on a fake, real New Year. So let's go to Trump. Now, this is the kind of stuff. We got 2 clips here from Trump to start the show. And it just shows me it's like they don't care anymore, or they're just that out of touch. Maybe both. But you hear Trump say something like this, and you're just saying, well, who is he hearing this from? He's asked about gas prices. Let's listen in.
The first one that affects Americans here on gas prices. Today they hit $4.
We're $4, yeah, and we have a country that's not going to be throwing a nuclear weapon at us in 6 months.
So does anybody believe that? So this is so where did this come from? Okay, Iran is an imminent nuclear threat. It's been that way for 47 years. That's obviously BS. Trump just said last year we annihilated their nuclear abilities, knocked them out. Now now we were 6 months away. I mean, so that's clearly just a lie. It's just ridiculous propaganda, ridiculous war propaganda. It's insulting that they do this to us. And it's sad to sit here and watch Trump do this to us. And this is what he ran against. This is supposed to be the antithesis of who President Trump is. And now he's just like the rest of them. So it's a totally fair question to ask why. It's a totally fair question to ask why. And the most obvious surface level why is he got bought out. It's that simple. He took Adelson's money. He took the Israeli lobby money. He's working on behalf of Israel. That's the most obvious answer here as to why. And the evidence all points to that. So it's like 98% chance. Okay, why did Trump turn into this warmonger? Why does Trump lie about war all day? Why does Trump spew the exact same propaganda he used to rail against? Why? You say 98%. Adelson money, Israeli lobby money. He's working on behalf of Israel here. And that's the obvious conclusion, and that's the conclusion that most people are reaching here, that just aren't in total denial, or people that aren't just blind to this. But, you do have to consider, as we're looking at the other phenomenon happening, okay, we're supposedly taking this trip around the moon, what, for sightseeing? We just want to send the first black astronaut up there? We just want to send a black astronaut up there just to wave at the moon? Or there's something else going on? All the stuff in the sky. You got members of Congress that are saying, hey, that basically saying aliens are already on Earth with us right now. Basically saying that there is an alien hybrid and humans have already been bred with aliens, with extraterrestrials. This is what sitting members of Congress are telling us today. So why am I connecting this to the Iran war? Well, what if these guys all know something we don't know? What if this 1% of the 1%, this new deep state shadow government secret society group that now Trump is clearly in, what if they just know something we don't know? And so they're making a bunch of moves right now before a meteor hits us or before another planet enters our solar system or whatever the hell's going on. Before there's a polar shift, I don't know, any of this stuff that they might have secret knowledge of, secret access to this information. We don't. You know, you, the peasants of Earth, you can't know about a cataclysm coming because you'll panic. And then if you panic, the elites won't be able to go into their bunkers with all of their emergency stuff to survive this out and live on while you all perish. So that won't work. So is it? So it's 98%. Why did Trump do this? He's just bought out by the Israel lobby. That's pretty obvious. And then maybe there's a 2% chance that, there's about to be some global cataclysm. And so this class of elites, this secret government, this shadow society, they're just maneuvering all these different things into place, stealing all of the money, maneuvering all of the ports and everything else that they can, so that whenever this thing happens, they're in the position to survive it, and everybody else is just going to fall apart. So let's give them everything. Let's give them access to all the resources and everything else. They're going to survive this. You're not. You know, maybe people think about that. But that is just outright propaganda from Trump there. And it's really sad. It's heartbreaking. And you certainly don't want to treat politics like you might romance. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Laura Loomer. But, you know, there is a little bit of we thought we had a special connection with Trump. And it turns out we were nothing to him. It turns out we never meant anything to him. As far as once he finds us no longer useful, then he has no reason for us. So it just feels like, though, you know, you catch your spouse cheating on you. You don't get overly emotional about it. Let's say you catch it. Maybe there's a guy at the house. You came home early, whatever. You don't even cause a scene at first. And you just see it and you're like, man, that's really, that's sad. Maybe you go downstairs, whatever. Maybe you leave. The guy your spouse is cheating on you with leaves. You come back. You're like, hey, hey, hon. It's like, oh, yeah. Like, what were you doing earlier? Oh, nothing. No one was at the house? No one was at the house. Oh, really? Oh, that's odd. You're up here making the bed. What's up with that? Oh, I got to make the bed. Our neighbors are, they're days away from a nuke. They're going to nuke our bed. I got to make the bed. Oh, okay. All right. Sure thing. All right. You leave. Come back next day. Same thing. This time you catch her and say, hey, all right. You're here in bed with the neighbor. I caught you. So let's just figure this out. It's like, no, I'm not in bed with the neighbor. No, I love you, honey. I would never be in bed with the neighbor. He's pulling up his pants, getting his shirt buttoned. It's like, he's literally, there he goes. Okay. No, I would never do that. I love you. I'm only with you. It's like, okay, this is just getting weird now. So it's kind of like that's where it's at with Trump. It's like we've caught him cheating on us. We've caught him lying to us. Even he's in bed with the person that used to be his enemy. He's in bed with the person that we were both seeking to defeat. Now he's in bed with them. And we're just like, damn, bro. So, oh, yeah, war with Iran. It's to save us from getting nuked by Iran. It's not even good propaganda. It's lazy. It's sloppy. It's insulting. They don't even try. It's so forced. It's so pathetic. And they have to go against their own propaganda from last year when they said that they destroyed the nuclear sites. They're years away now. We defeated them. So now they're putting propaganda that's contradictory to their own propaganda. And they're shocked. They're shocked you don't believe it.
Americans are feeling the effects in the interim.
And they're also feeling a lot safer.
What is the plan to bring them back down?
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very.
So this is a crazy one. Two parts here. He says, but Americans are feeling a lot safer. Does anybody feel safer since this war started? I would say the exact opposite. Now, again, if he's talking about, he works for Israel, maybe he figures that when this is all said and done, Israel will feel safer. But that's not happening either. actually. The Israelis are getting sick of going in and out of bunkers. The Israelis are sick of a lifestyle that is a resemblance of a night crawler. In and out of bunkers. Who knows if they can go to school tomorrow? Who knows if they can go to work tomorrow? Who knows if their apartment is even standing anymore? So who is it that feels safer? I'm a little curious who President Trump believes feels safer. So is it the Israelis? Doesn't seem to be safer over there. Tel Aviv just got hit with another missile just a couple hours ago. Another barrage of missiles from Iran that they say don't exist, by the way. They say Iran has no missiles. They have no launch sites. Well, they just bombed Israel again. So what's going on with that then? So you just keep lying. You're just a complete bold-faced liar. But let's talk about here. All I have is people asking me if they should be concerned. All I have is people asking me if I think we're going to get hit. All I have is people asking me if there's going to be terror cells popping off. Nobody feels safer. Nobody feels safer. Americans are way more concerned right now. The whole world is more concerned because of this war. Nobody feels safer. This guy, it's unbelievable what an ass Donald Trump turned out to be. And, fine, a politician lies. Nobody's surprised. Donald Trump turned out to be another lying politician. Okay, throw him in the heap. What's the most pathetic about this development is watching MAGA go along with the lies. Here's this MAGA movement, supposedly better than this. Here's the MAGA movement, supposedly above the lying politicians. We expose the lying politicians. We defeat the lying politicians. We are here as the opposite of the lying politicians. And then the whole MAGA movement just turned into supporting lying politicians like everything else. So that's what's more stunning. I'm not stunned that Donald Trump turned out to be a liar. I'm stunned that MAGA is just sitting here playing along with the lies. That's what's stunning. So, no, people don't feel safer.
And to bring them back down.
All I have to do is leave Iran, and we'll be doing that very soon.
So he says, to get the oil prices down, we just have to leave Iran. While he says what's happening in the Strait of Hormuz doesn't affect oil prices at all. And what is the agenda here if you can just up and leave? For what? What is the outcome we're looking for here then?
Become tumbling down, and stock prices were up today.
And there it is. It's all about the stock market. By the way, we called that yesterday. We said we would get a pump today, and it might go through the rest of the week, and then they'll do something on the weekend. And if this trend continues, I'll probably be looking at dumping everything Friday. I'm going to ride this one out. I picked up a couple. I just kind of had some long horses here that I was just holding. I wasn't really doing swing trades or day trades once the new year started, because it was clear that this market was going to be volatile, and who knows what could happen. But okay, the market is back up today, so Trump's celebrating that. I wonder if it'll continue to go up tomorrow, Friday, and then they'll do something big over the weekend, and then there's going to be the big crash. It's kind of what I feel is going to happen, depending on what Trump announces. But you know what? Nobody even believes Trump anymore. So I don't even think it matters what he says tonight. I think all that matters is what's going to happen this weekend, quite frankly. And I think whatever Trump, it's like, I don't want to get ahead of it tonight with the Trump speech, because I think we're all anticipating just a fluff job. Trump telling everybody how great everything is and how great he is. But, it's the stock market. We're celebrating that the stock market is back up, because that's what it's all about.
Almost to a record.
And that's not true. It's not a record.
Because they know two things. Number one, we have a safe country. We had to take a little detour because we had a madman named Khomeini, who sadly is no longer with us.
It's just so disgusting. Trump is just so disgusting now. It's really sad, but it is what it is. So now he's confused. He's confused. So last week, it was 100% approval rating. Trump said he's getting 100% approval rating. And now he's confused because people don't like him anymore. He's trying to figure this out.
Washington Post is almost extinct. The papers that are being dishonest, the papers generally, people don't believe the media. And to finish.
And this is why it's so ironic. People don't believe you anymore. You're no different than the Washington Post. You're Donald Trump, Washington Post, New York Times, CNN. You're all in the same game now. You're all in the same realm. You're all liars. Nobody trusts any of you. Trump, you're no better than them now. That's why this is so frustrating. If you didn't just lie to us for a whole campaign, if you didn't just lie to us for now 14 months, whatever it is into your presidency, if you didn't just lie to us during this press conference, then you could still sit here and talk about the fake news and talk about the New York Times and the Washington Post and all the liars in the media. You're one of them now. You're no better. You sit here and lie to the American people all day long. In fact, honestly, you're like below them now. The Washington Post and the New York Times actually might have an edge on you as far as honesty is concerned now. That's how low this deal has fallen.
I got 93% bad publicity. Some people say 97, but between 93 and 97. A person that gets 97% of bad stories, maybe Caroline's doing a poor job. I don't know. She's my representative. You're doing a terrible job. Should we keep her? I think we'll keep her. But I get 93 to 97% bad press, all fake. I won in a landslide. When you get 93 to 97 bad stories, bad press, and you win in a landslide, you know what that says? People don't believe the press.
And now they don't believe you. And that's why the Democrats are about to win in a landslide. See how that works? Yes. You're stuck on a loop. You're stuck on repeat. This whole movement has just gone back in time. MAGA has just time traveled back to the Bush era and 2016. Yes, President Trump, we know the media lies. We know they were lying about you. Now you're a liar. So it doesn't matter. You can attack a liar as much as you want. You're still a liar. And he said he's stunned. It's like you're up here facing it yourself. It's like, yes, people know we get lied to now, and now we know you're lying to us. I don't understand. I thought they would just believe everything I said. It's not happening. They know I'm lying to them now, and it's not good. But I don't have to run again, so it really doesn't matter. By the way, the economy. If you eat beef, you probably already knew this. Ground beef hits new all-time high. Beef hitting new all-time highs under Trump. So the stock market is not at an all-time high. He lied about that. But beef prices are. So you want to go get a steak, it's $40, $50 a pound. You want to go get ground beef, $8, $9, $10 a pound. That's the economy for you. That's the Trump economy. Now here's, you know what, let me do this before we go to Trump's statement on Iran and get into this news. Tonight's speech. If I still had faith in Trump, I would think that something of significance, something of substance is going to happen tonight. Whether it's what I want or not, doesn't matter. If I still had any faith in Trump, I would think that there's going to be something significant tonight. But my faith in Trump is, it's like it's non-existent. So I have to be more realistic. But let's just say I still had some faith in Trump, or I still thought that Trump was going to do something good for us. What I would like to see tonight, or what maybe Trump could do tonight, is he could go out there and say, all right, this is what we've done, and we've done everything we needed to do in Iran. The White House made a statement today claiming that they've cleared all their original. They said, the White House said there were clear objectives from day one, and now they're all accomplished. Okay. So, all right. Everybody thinks you're about to go troops on the ground, which would be a total disaster, but okay. Maybe that's just a head fake. So the White House says from day one, we had clear objectives and they're all complete. So now Trump's going to go out there tonight. And if I had any faith in Trump, or if I thought he was going to do something for America that needed to be done, like the original Trump might do, like a 2016-17 Trump might do, Trump can go out there and said, all right, we did what we needed to do in Iran. This was a bad situation. It's not even a situation necessarily that we wanted to get involved in, but there were other factors at play. We had to do this. And we are now declaring victory. And we are declaring victory in the war in the Middle East. And we're declaring victory on terrorism. And we are bringing the troops home. And just do a total bait and switch and just declare total victory and say we're bringing all the troops home. We're bringing them all home. And we're done spending billions of dollars in the Middle East every year. We're done bringing the troops home, declaring victory. That'd be huge. That'd give you a popularity boost. That'd get your approval ratings a nice bump. That'd get the stock market humming. And if you worked for America, that's exactly what you would do. If you worked for Israel, you'd keep the troops there and keep spending hundreds of billions of dollars there annually. So I guess we'll get another reminder of who the president really works for. Now, he has teased, and we'll get to this in the headlines, Trump has teased, and he's been teasing this for years, about getting out of NATO. Now, I always figured this was a leverage piece for Trump. This was a negotiating tactic for Trump to head fake like we're going to pull out of NATO. Europe freaks out. That's free money for them, free defense for them. And then they come back to the table. But what if Trump says victory, bringing the troops home, and in this struggle, in this war against Iran, we realize that our European allies and our NATO allies do not have our backs. They did not abide by the NATO treaty. Iran was a direct threat to us. We had to go to war. They didn't help us. We're leaving NATO. You could regain. Now, I wonder if anyone in his administration is advising him on this. You could regain maybe about half of everything you've lost if you did that tonight. If you're Donald Trump, you could regain about half of your losses by declaring victory in the Middle East and bringing the troops home and then getting out of NATO. You could in one night, in one speech, you could regain half of the ground that you've lost in the first 14 months of your administration. Now, is anybody advising him on this? Probably not. They're probably telling him the exact opposite. So I don't have any faith that that's going to happen, but I guess we can still hope. Now, what is more likely to happen, Trump is going to get up there tonight and tell you how great everything is. Trump is going to get up there tonight and tell you how great he is, how great everything in Iran is going, and just make it all about him, make it all about his success, make it all about what a victory the war is and how great everything is and how great the economy is. And it'll basically just be a giant pom-pom waving fluff job of a narcissistic egomaniac who just can't get enough camera time. And so this is the problem where, and I go through this a lot, 90% of Americans they don't follow the news, folks. They just don't. And they might see news stories. They might see the big news stories, but generally speaking, there's probably only 3 or 4 things in politics and current events that actually grip them or grab their attention or that they have interest in the span of an entire year. And this war is obviously one of those things. So for you and I, we're sitting here like, damn, Trump needs to do a primetime speech. This guy does a damn speech every day. Trump does 2-3 hours of live TV every single day. What more can Trump have to say? What more can Trump get up there and say tonight that he hasn't said 100 times already? Is there going to be some big announcement? Is it just going to be another fluff job? Is this all about he sees his approval ratings tanking and he's scared? Is this all about he sees how he has lost the narrative on this war and he's up there to try to correct course with narrative? Is it just fully ego-driven? I just want more TV time? Not enough people are watching me? I need prime time? I need every network to flip over to me? Is it that? It's all so obnoxious. He's already done TV today. This guy does 3-4 hours of TV every day, but he needs more. He needs more, and he needs the primetime address, and he needs every network to switch over and watch him tonight. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And so for the people that don't watch the news, who probably haven't seen or heard Trump speak in weeks or months, they will see this tonight. They will watch this tonight. And that's the purpose. Now, we have a statement from Trump, and then I got a stack of geopolitical news. I want to take the first break before we do that. But I'm wondering, because it looks like we'll probably be able to move through a lot of this news at a pretty rapid pace. I think we'll be able to clear the deck pretty soon. So that might give us some extra time today, perhaps even to take some phone calls. But let's take our first break. We're going to come back with the geopolitical stack. And then we got crazy stuff on the aliens and what's going on in the space or the skies. We got a wild Dan Bongino segment. We also have an April Fool's Day segment that we might do today. I think we'll do that today. We should have the time. So let's take our first break. We come back on the other side. We're going to hit the geopolitics.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Well, you see everything going on, and you might be thinking about your wealth. You might be thinking about, do I need to do something to protect my wealth? And maybe, like many people, like many smart people, you're thinking about precious metals. You're thinking about gold. That's why I've partnered with Allegiance Gold. And you can too at protectwithowen.com. Now, when it comes to making a big financial decision, it's obviously heavy. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of concerns. And you really want to make sure you have a good understanding of the situation before you make a decision. That's why the phone call is free. 844-790-9191. That's 844-790-9191. And the phone call is free. Give them a call. Any questions you have, they are more than happy to answer. And while you've got them on the phone, ask them about $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments. You heard that right. $5,000 in free gold and silver with qualified investments right now at protectwithowen.com. Whether through your 401k, IRA, or savings, they make it simple to move into something before the next reset, something real, something that might last, something that might hold its value, something you can get access to. All you got to do is give them the call, ask the question. By the way, that $5,000, though, that weight is getting less and less, it seems like, as the price of these precious metals rise, which has been the trend lately. So get on top of it. Give them a call or go to protectwithowen.com. That's protectwithowen.com. By the way, Allegiance Gold, an A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. That is literally as good as it gets. A+ review with the Better Business Bureau. That's Allegiance Gold. Go to protectwithowen.com. Protect your wealth because no one else will.
Navigating between the sane and insane, it's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
I just got an alert on my phone. The state of Texas is going to be testing their emergency alert systems all day tomorrow. Great. Thank you. That's what I needed to hear today. That sounds really reassuring on this day. Yeah. I'm kind of getting sick of the whole April Fool's thing. You know, it was fun as a kid. You do a little prank on your dad or something, or your teacher might have a little gag at school. Now it's like it's penetrated everything. You don't even know what's an April Fool's Day joke or not. I'm getting a little tired of it. It's not so innocent fun anymore as an adult in the news industry. It's getting a little obnoxious, actually. It's like, we're having statewide emergency drills in Texas tomorrow. Is that really right now? You guys, is that a joke? You're going to hit that? You're going to hit me with that right now, are you? Okay. All right. Trump issues this statement on Iran. Iran's new regime president, which he doesn't even name, by the way, doesn't even give a name. So does he really know who it is, or if there even is one? Iran's new regime president, unnamed, much less radicalized and far more intelligent than his predecessors, has just asked the United States of America for a ceasefire. We will consider when Hormuz Strait is open, free and clear. Until then, we are blasting Iran into oblivion, or as they say, back to the Stone Ages, President Trump. Now, this is where it just gets absolutely insane. Now, apparently Iran was prepared to issue some statement to the American people. That was the report today, that Iran, or its new leadership, was going to issue a statement to the American people. Who knows what's real at this point? There's definitely a bridge, or a gap, a bridgeless gap, rather, between the people of America and the people of Iran. There's very little exchange back and forth. Like, at least we have an idea of what's going on in Israel. Like, we have a much stronger connection with Israelis to figure out what's going on, whether that's news sources or sources on the ground or just the people. We don't really have that in Iran. So I find this statement from Trump ironic for many reasons, but he says the new regime president doesn't give him a name. So is there even one? He says less radicalized and intelligent and more intelligent than his predecessors. How does this even make sense? Now, they claim that the administration claims they've killed 50, let's say, give or take a couple. They claim they've killed the top 50 leaders in Iran. The top 50. So, okay, if you believe that, so where are we at here? Where does this leave us? Who is this new president? Why can't you give him a name? And how can you claim he's less radicalized? How can you make that claim? You have just bombed their country with Israel, who has been seeking to destroy Iran for 40 years. Israel has been meddling in Iran's business and trying to destroy Iran for almost 50 years. And now you, Donald Trump, you lied to the world, and now you're doing this for Israel, and you think this is going to be a less radicalized regime after you've killed all their friends and family and blew up a school? And you believe now they're going to be less radicalized? That doesn't seem to add up for me. Maybe they're waving the white flag. But the Strait of Hormuz isn't open. We have news about the Strait of Hormuz today. But now he's saying, well, we would have a ceasefire, but you guys are keeping the strait closed. So what is the deal with that? We hear a different story every day. Hell, every hour. The strait is open. The strait is closed. The strait is open. The strait is closed. They have no missiles. They have no military. Well, then how is the strait closed? If they have no missiles, if they have no military, if they have no leadership, then what is going on in the Strait of Hormuz here that you still don't have control over? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't add up. And it's very simple. It's because he's a liar. It's because he's lying. He's lying about this war. Make up your own decisions as to why he's deciding to lie his way through this, but that's what's going on. So here's the tease for tonight's speech. Or this is just Trump playing the leverage game. Trump says he is strongly considering pulling out of NATO. Says the alliance is a paper tiger. So somebody used the phrase paper tiger to Trump recently, and now he can't say it enough. He's learned a new word. Paper tiger, he loves it now. He says it 100 times since he's heard it for the first time. So now he's lashing out at Europe, saying he's considering pulling out of NATO. He's done this before, and he never ends up doing it. I wish he would, but they didn't back us up in Iran. They didn't join our war in Iran, and so why do we have this partnership? Well, yeah, you could have been saying that for years. And the only country that you guys do jointly fight for is Ukraine, which isn't even a NATO country at all. So that's funny. So, yes, the whole thing is corrupt. So is this Trump just playing a head fake leverage game with NATO and how they steal all of our money and get defense for it? Or is Trump serious about it this time? Maybe we'll find out tonight. Now, then there's the Russia angle. And this is an interesting angle. And I think there's one thing that doesn't get talked about enough. You know, the United States, no doubt, has had, and maybe still does have, military superiority. I don't think that's a propaganda thing that they push on us. I think we probably do have military superiority. And if there's anybody in the world that maybe could even compete with us, you know, you talk about maybe a China, a Russia, maybe an India or Pakistan, maybe a Turkey. But generally speaking, I think it's fair that the U.S. probably has military superiority. I hope we don't have to test that. But let's just assume that that is the case. Well, all of these different wars that we've fought, I don't even know which ones you could consider a victory. But there's a big difference between all these different wars that we fought and this war with Iran. And it's not just the size of the nation. It's not just the population. It's not just the political or religious or cultural practices. It's not just the terrain. There's something else at stake here that I don't think it's properly talked about in the media. And you could even say that Iran's foreign minister has been trying to communicate this to a certain degree, which is this. Iran has been preparing for this war for 40 years. Iran's leadership has known for 40 years that eventually Israel was going to come for them. Whatever the cost, whatever they have to do, whoever they have to drag into it, however they have to drag them into it. So Iran, much like probably the rest of the world, has realized for 40 years, eventually Israel's going to try to do a regime change war in Iran. Israel is eventually going to get in there and do their regime change war, whether that's under the flag of the United States of America or their own flag. There we're going to get it. So they've been preparing for this. And I would say it's safe to assume that China and Russia have also been preparing for this. Now, they might not be getting prepared as far as defense or response attacks are concerned, but, you know, the larger geopolitical situation, the larger geopolitical chessboard and Russia and China interests in that region, they have definitely been considering the fact that eventually Israel was going to go in to try to do a regime change war in Iran. And so now here we are. And clearly, and basically Trump has admitted this a couple times. He's not supposed to, but, you know, he just talks now. He doesn't even think about what he says. So eventually the truth might come out. But Trump has insinuated multiple times that they underestimated Iran. They underestimated their military capabilities. They underestimated their ability to fight back against this war. So he's admitted that. And if that's true, I doubt that that is an isolated, like, just in this moment or just in this attack that we underestimated Iran. That's probably a larger situation, and it probably extends beyond Iran's borders. And that's what we're learning now. That, yes, this deal has expanded beyond Iran's borders. This war in Iran, this regime change war in Iran, is not just affecting Iran or Israel or America. The whole world is being impacted by this. And clearly now you can see Russia and China had at least some awareness of this, and they're already moving in to take advantage of this situation. I'm wondering, though, if they don't want Russia involved. If somebody is not trying to get Russia involved in this war. Strikes hit Russian Orthodox Church in Tehran, Moscow says. So we're bombing Russian Orthodox churches in Iran now. That's what we're doing. We're bombing the Russian Orthodox churches in Iran. Are they trying to get Russia into this war? Do they want Russia into this war? It almost feels that way. And I don't know why. I don't know if that is something to distract from Ukraine or they're just looking for this war. It seems like these people just want a world war. It seems like the people that have been running this planet have been planning this war for a long time, and now they just want it. It has no popularity. The people don't want it. The citizens of these countries don't want it. It's the psychotic, satanic leadership that wants it. They've been building this stuff. They've been building bombs. They've been building military. They've been building different technology. They actually want to see it. They want to see how these bombs blow up. They want to see how this technology can kill people. They know they're not long for this world, and they've built it up for this World War III. They just want to see it before they die. They want to set the world on fire. They want to see all their cool toys. They want to see all their big fireworks. They want to see it all before they die. The hell with the planet. Feels like there's a hint of that. So here's Michael Savage yesterday. Turns 84 years old. And it's definitely worth mentioning for the sake of this clip for people that don't understand. And I'm not going to go too much into Michael Savage politics here. But Savage is a big supporter of Israel. He's maybe not so strong on Netanyahu, but he is a proponent of Israel. Savage is very critical of Islam and Muslims, very critical. And he, at one point, was one of Trump's top confidants. In Trump's first administration, Michael Savage had multiple trips on, I believe, Air Force One and Marine Force One with Donald Trump, had multiple dinners, banquets, events with President Trump. Savage was very close to Trump in the first administration. Now, eventually, they shoved Savage out, just like the same powers that be shoved Savage off the radio and gave his airtime to Shapiro and Levin. Yep, that's how it went down. Just like Savage got blacklisted from Fox News. And then Laura Ingraham got her show and promised Michael Savage on his radio show at the time, promised him that she would break that blacklist and bring him on Fox News. She didn't. So I think this is an important context to understand. Michael Savage has had a close relationship with Trump. He was one of Trump's top confidants in the first administration. He's very pro-Israel. He's very anti-Islam. And yet they can't even sell Savage this war. Savage is not interested in this war and doesn't seem to understand it. So here's what Michael Savage said yesterday in a very powerful 84th birthday broadcast.
We can be anything we want to be. So just try to be the good one and the wise one. And let us all pray for peace. Nobody wanted this war. Everybody wants this war to end as quickly as possible. Anyone with a conscience knows this war makes no sense. Nobody's buying the big lie. That's not to say Iran is a good nation. We know the mullahs are crazy and they live in the 7th century. But maybe war isn't the answer. I've heard the other side of it. We all saw The Godfather. Sorry, I have very bad allergies. We all saw The Godfather. When Fat Clemenza takes Michael down in the basement in that house in Brooklyn or Staten Island, wherever it was, and they're shooting the gun. And Fat Clemenza, as it was written, says, we should have stopped Hitler at Munich. Remember that line? Puzo was a great writer. Unless Coppola wrote it into the screenplay. I don't know. A great line. He says, see, Mike, we should have stopped Hitler at Munich. Then we would have avoided World War II. So there is a thought in this land that we should stop the mullahs now before they grow too strong and they can't be stopped. I can understand that, but I don't buy it. A year ago, we were told their nuclear capacity was completely destroyed. And now they've been bombed for a couple of weeks. What's left for them to fight with? Well, they have missiles. They could put a nuclear tip on one of them, I suppose. They could get it from China or Russia. Do you think by bombing them, they're going to stop? We're liable to drag China and Russia into the war. Did you ever think about that? What is to prevent Russia from finally saying, you know what? I'm going to join Iran in this war now. And Russia says they're going to send Russian troops into Iran to defend the Iranian soil. What if they do that? Is that what you want? Are you that stupid to think you want a war with Russia now? Well, we've depleted some of our most important weapons, many of which we gave to Zelensky in Ukraine for 3 years to kill Russians. You think Putin doesn't remember how many of his boys were killed? You think the Ukrainians don't know how many of theirs disappeared? Over 1 million men, a whole generation wiped out over a war that was supposed to never have started and was supposed to have been ended within 2 days of President Trump becoming president. He doesn't have that power to stop things just because he wants to. He's not God. He's just a man. He has good intentions. He'd like to have no war. Now we have a war. He ran on a platform of no wars, and now we have a war. Who's whispering in his ear? We appeal to President Trump, as I said for 4 weeks now, declare victory and end this before it's too late. But apparently no one hears me. So maybe
that was the most important part right there. And, you know, if you want to criticize Michael Savage, that's fine. He's been one of the biggest inspirations on my broadcasting career. And I don't even mind the times I disagree with him. I respect his opinion. I want to hear his perspective. He's been around a long time. And he says, who's whispering in Trump's ear? And that's the big question. Who is it advising him on this? It's obviously not Michael Savage. He's lost that. They've gate-kept Savage out. He's not allowed anymore. She says, who's whispering this in his ear? He gets it. He knows. And, you know, maybe as a parallel, as this is happening, Alex Jones now He's on Drudge today. He's going viral. He does a segment on his show this week, basically saying, I think the exact quote is, Trump is gone. We have to cut bait. And I'm not going to get into the thought process of Alex on all of this. Obviously, that's something I was extremely close to the ground on a year ago. But people are saying, oh, wow, he's even lost Alex. And I think, maybe Alex was clinging on or clinging to hope or whatever, but it's just like, it's so bad now. It's so obvious now. You can't anymore. You just can't. And nobody is getting this information to Trump, by the way. It's all being gate kept out of Trump's ear. And it's all the warmongers and the Levins and the Loomers, the psychos, the Lindsey Grahams, the foreign agents, literally the foreign agents. These are the people that are working the Trump administration right now. And then a lot of them have deals with Brad Parscale, who is a registered foreign agent of Israel. And a lot of them have deals with companies where Brad Parscale works or even owns. And it's all right in front of your face. They're running the show. Israel's interests are running the show. That's why you're not getting any good domestic results, because Israel's interests are running the show. And so everything about this administration has been foreign policy, and it's been a total disaster. But who's whispering in Trump's ear? And then the other question is, and maybe this is what Trump tries to do tonight, just get out and declare victory. Now, for you and I, that would be extremely offensive, egregious, but whatever. We're the 1% of Americans that actually follow and care to this degree, so he's not thinking about us. The real question is, can you even declare victory and get out at this point? I think you're too deep in now. I think the damage done to the entire geopolitical world, I think the damage done to the United States of America, you could talk about the physical damage done. You could talk about the death toll in Iran, and there's no doubt we're on the winning edge of that. But what about the geopolitical price? What about the foreign relations price? What about the political price at home for the Republicans, for Trump, for the coalition? On all those fronts, Trump has lost big time. Permanent damage. Iran might be able to rebuild their buildings. Iran might be able to reform their government and have new leadership. And whether it carries on in Israel's interest or not, who knows? Because that's what this is all about after all. So Trump wants to go in there and get the oil. Israel wants to go in there and run Iran. Maybe they can get it done. Maybe they can't. The problem is, in this process, they have isolated themselves from the rest of the world. Israel is already the pariah of the civilized world and the Western world. The only country that still has Israel's back is now America, and it's really not even America. It's just Trump. It's just the political world. The rest of America has abandoned Israel. The rest of America is negative on Israel. It's literally just the political world. So I don't even know if you can just cut and run and declare victory anymore. Sure, Trump can actually do it. Trump can actually say, hey, we're done, we won, we're out. But the price has already been paid. The rest of the world no longer trusts America. The rest of the world no longer trusts Trump. Now they're all reconsidering everything with Trump. Now they're all reconsidering everything with the United States of America. And now Russia and China are filling that void. That void of the rest of the world and the Western world and our trading partners, where they're all looking at America, looking at Trump now saying, gee, we can't work with them. We can't trust them. They lie to us. And they seem to be getting drug around by Israel that we all want for war crimes. I don't think we can work with you guys anymore. That is potentially permanent damage. And guess what? What's going on in the Strait of Hormuz? It is still Iran controlling it, and we'll get into the news here. And now they're doing oil deals in the Chinese yuan. And now they're all looking at Russia for oil and for energy. That is potentially permanent damage. So you might have been able, after a week or two, to do the bombing, kill all of the Iranian leadership, whatever it is you're trying to do, whatever it is that you're going to propagandize your people, whatever it is Israel is asking you to do. It's like you might have been able to go in there, sweeping action, maybe for a week or two, and pulled out and said, okay, we won, we're out, kind of like they did with Operation Midnight Hammer. But now I think it might be too late. I think that this deal is now permanent damage. And even if Trump does come out tonight and declare victory and say we're getting out, I think it's too late. I think you've already given Russia and China the boost. I think you've actually unified Iran now. Now they probably don't even want regime change. Now they're probably more inclined, the people of Iran, now they're probably more inclined to say whatever it is, whatever this pressure system is coming from Israel, whatever this pressure system is being forced on us by America, we're against those interests. We're for our own country. So we got our own problems, and maybe we don't like the mullahs, and maybe we don't like Khamenei and the rest of them. But now these are the people that are killing us. These are the people that are killing our kids. These are the people that are bombing us. It's all this Israel-run influence that's been trying to kill us all for 40 years, and now America is forcing it on us. So actually, the Iranian people are unified now. Like after September 11th, remember that? After September 11th, the patriotism, the unification in the country, that's what's happening in Iran right now. And don't be fooled by the Western propaganda telling you the opposite. Don't be so fooled by that. Oh, yes, the media is stopping lying now. Oh, yes, the media is not propagandizing us. Oh, yes, the government isn't lying to us anymore. Stop. Don't be the April Fool today. So I'm now concerned that it's too late. I'm now concerned that the damage done is permanent damage, and there is no getting out of it now. We might physically get out of it. We might stop the bombing, but you look at the global market, you look at the U.S. dollar, you look at the shipping markets, we have just done permanent damage as far as the United States is concerned in all of these different markets. And the people that could have been great allies to us, the people that would have been great allies to us, and we're not just talking about the parasite like Israel that just takes and takes and takes and takes and takes, doesn't give, just takes and destroys. That's all Israel has done, is just stealing and destroying. That's not a real ally. That's like you have a parasite. It's like you have a tick, a leech on you. No, we're talking about like real allies that actually will do real deals. That aren't into just warmongering and regime change and taking our money and bombing people all day long. We're talking about like real allies that want to have their own business and we have our own business, and then we do business together that benefits everybody. Now, all of those allies are looking at us and they're like, oh man, we can't trust you anymore. Maybe we don't want to do business with you anymore. I think it's all permanent damage. I don't know if you can just say, we're done and we declare victory now. I think it's all permanent damage now. So let's look at these headlines. Indonesian peacekeepers' death spur calls for Middle East exit plan. Lawmakers want Indonesia to pressure Israel for answers and urge Jakarta to rethink its Lebanon and Gaza peacekeeping mission. Peacekeeping. There is no peace as long as Israel's involved, in case you haven't noticed. And you can thank Netanyahu and Ben Gvir and the rest for that. And the Mark Levins and the Ben Shapiros in the West. So now Indonesia is sick of Israel and what they're doing in Lebanon. I mean, folks, what Israel is doing in Lebanon is unreal. And for all the Christians, they're showing no reverence. Israel is showing no reverence for Christians. If anything, they're insulting Christians intentionally. Here's the IDF destroying the St. George statue, a major site of Christian heritage in Lebanon, and Israel is destroying it, running it over with tanks, laughing as they do it. Israel has completely bombed out southern Lebanon, so they did their military demolition, and then they send the mop-up troops in afterwards. They're mocking Palm Sunday. So they saw, I guess, they bombed a Christian church or whatever. They saw some Palm Sunday stuff. So they decided to mock Christianity, shoot videos about how they're mocking Christianity. taking up the Palm Sunday leaves and pretending to baptize people and shaking it in the air. So the IDF is in here just desecrating Christian monuments, desecrating Christian heritage sites, desecrating Christian villages. And the Christian community is told to stay silent, by the way. And if you speak up like Carrie Jean Bowler, they'll destroy you, destroy your life and career. So that's happening. And here's China. Chinese envoy calls for de-escalation of conflicts in Lebanon. It's truly unreal what Israel has gotten away with in Lebanon. It's just unreal. There's no excuse. At least they had their excuse on Gaza with the October 7th stand down. At least they had the excuse for that. They don't even have an excuse for Lebanon. It's just, yeah, we're just Israel. We just kill and steal whatever we want, and that's what we get because we're ordained as God's chosen people. And I don't even think that's real. I think the people that claim that are pretending that they actually care. I think they hide behind this theology of God's chosen people. I think they hide behind that to excuse all of their warmongering, to excuse all of their stealing, all of their lies. I don't even think these are real Jews. How do you like that one for an April Fool's Day? How do you like that one? I don't even think these are real Jews. I think they're Eastern European gypsies that are pretending to be Jews so they can get away with all of this crime, all of this stealing, all of this death, all of this murder, and just claim, this is my theology. I'm God's chosen people. And then the real Jews and the real Semites, they're the ones that are being told to sit down and shut up. Canada, I guess we can't be surprised, but Canada isn't supporting Israel. They're condemning what Israel is doing in Lebanon. Here's Mark Carney.
It's an illegal invasion of Lebanon. It's a violation of their territorial sovereignty, integrity, sovereignty. And the point I was making as well, from a practical perspective, the government of Lebanon has banned Hezbollah. It's taking action. It's trying to take action against Hezbollah and their terrorist activities and their threats to Israel, and that is the purported justification for this invasion. So we condemn it.
So isn't that ironic? So we spend $400 billion in Ukraine to protect their sovereignty, their borders. Oh, Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia violated Ukraine's sovereignty. So we have to spend $400 billion to protect Ukraine. But when Lebanon has its border invaded, when Lebanon has its sovereignty invaded by Israel, we're not funding Lebanon. We're funding Israel. We're supporting it. So in the Ukraine-Russia war, we stand with the people being invaded. In the Israel versus the world war, we stand with Israel, who's invading every other country. I mean, say what you want about Carney in Canada, and there's plenty you can say. But at least they're consistent on that. They're saying, yeah, we're not going to support Israel violating borders, just like we don't support when Russia violates borders. The U.S. just supports, I guess, wherever they're making money or wherever they can launder money or whoever blackmails them. I don't know, because there's no logical reason for that. It's getting so bad now for the Israelis. And for whatever reason, you continue to see this expressed on these soccer fields. Israel had a matchup against Bosnia, and the Bosnians would not even shake Team Israel's hand. So it's tradition before these games that everybody does a handshake. And many of the Bosnian players refuse to even shake the Israelis' hand. And you have fans at a lot of these matches that are very anti-Israel. So I don't know why this is being expressed so much in the soccer world. But hey, if you use Israel's logic, well, that's your fault. You need to elect better leadership. That's what they said about Palestine when they killed 100,000 people. They said, hey, that's your fault. You need to elect better leadership. You need to have better politics. So we can kill you, and that's your fault because your leadership. So if Israelis are upset that soccer players don't want to shake their hand, by that logic, which is just a refusal of a handshake, they're not killing anybody. But with that logic, you would just tell the Israelis, well, that's your fault. So when bombs are falling on Israel and when the world is turning on Israelis or Jews, just go with the Israeli logic and say that's your fault. You need to elect better leadership. So that's you guys elected Netanyahu and the rest. So that's your fault. That's their logic. That's their logic. Nobody seems to know what's going on. So headline in France 24. A lot of contradictory information. Syrian and Kurdish forces clash along the Euphrates River as the Syrian army and Kurdish-led forces trade accusations of breaking a troop withdrawal agreement in the country's north. France 24 Damascus correspondent Dana Albaz breaks down how the Syrian military's advance has put part of the region's civilian population to fight. So nobody seems to know what's going on. So it's like they both show up to fight, and they're like, wait a second, are we supposed to be fighting each other here? Or wait, where are we supposed to be? Wait, I thought you were fighting them. Wait, you're fighting us. It's just total chaos and confusion in the Middle East right now. And, of course, most of these groups that you name, they're all just these proxy groups, which makes it even harder because they're all infiltrated by intelligence agencies. But this is now what's going on in the Strait of Hormuz and why I don't think Trump can get out and declare victory anymore. Secret codes and yuan fees get ships through Iran's Hormuz toll booth. Vessels wanting to transit the strategic waterway need to be from friendly countries, and some have to pay fees in Chinese currency or crypto before being escorted through the strait. So we're driving countries to the yuan. We're killing the petrodollar. We're harming the strength of the U.S. dollar with this war, and that could be permanent damage. And that seems to be something consistent with Trump, is that he just, and maybe that's because he figures he's not going to get blamed for it. But go back to COVID. All of those COVID policies caused permanent damage. And those were Trump's COVID policies, by the way. Trump's COVID policies, where he allowed the country to be shut down. Trump's COVID policies, where they enacted all of these COVID payment systems that was like 90% fraud that we didn't even need to begin with. That all did permanent damage to the economy. But because Trump was able to leave the White House before the permanent damage happened, it all got blamed on Biden. And Biden didn't do anything to help it either. So this is no positive Biden coverage here. But that was permanent damage done by Trump. And there's this weird mentality that Trump has where he doesn't seem to really care about what happens in the next phase. It seems that Trump's approach is just do it now, deal with the damage, and then deal with the damage in the next phase. But when you're only president for 4 years, you don't always have to deal with all the damage. Sometimes you can cause a bunch of chaos and then you're out of the office, like with COVID and a stolen election. Trump left. He left the White House. He didn't have to deal with the permanent damage that he caused. So it seems like the same thing is happening with this war in Iran, except now because they're having to do it in the first 2 years instead of the second 2 years, which is when they originally planned on doing it. But because now the Republicans are looking like they're going to lose the midterms, they had to move it up into the first 2 years. Now that permanent damage is going to be happening in the second half of his administration. So he's not going to be able to cut and run like he did after COVID. Now he's going to have to sit there for 2 years and deal with this permanent damage and either own it or attempt to fix it, but it might be too late. It might be too late. And you're getting mixed messages out of Iran. Iran released their statement today basically saying Trump is lying about everything. Who knows? I mean, I know Trump is lying. That doesn't mean I trust Iran. Tehran demands reparations to end conflict. Iran's president has set conditions for an end to the war, including reparations and guarantees against future aggression. Meanwhile, IAE's 32 member states agreed to release 400 million barrels of oil. So Iran is Iran actually doing Trump a favor here. But no, they're going to try to do it like Gaza. They're going to try to do it like Lebanon and the West Bank and the Golan Heights and everywhere else. Now, who knows who they make pay for it? They don't really care whether it's Iran or the U.S. taxpayer. We usually end up getting these bills. But all of this is going to go towards BlackRock and Vanguard and all the different places that get these deals to rebuild after the war. That's what's going to happen. And that's how it always happens. All right. Let's move on to some other domestic news. By the way, we are 47 minutes from Artemis 2 takeoff. If you're curious about that, probably cover that. Maybe we'll watch it. They're doing a lap around the moon, is what they're doing. So there was a Supreme Court argument. Trump popped in, apparently the first time a president has ever been there. He stayed during the arguments when his side was arguing, and then he left afterwards. The Supreme Court hears Trump versus Barbara, this was today, challenging Trump's order limiting birthright citizenship, which could reshape immigration policy and affect millions of U.S.-born children's rights. Now, I think the Trump administration is totally right on this. I do think they have it's a difficult thing to argue because it kind of just comes down to politics. It kind of just comes down to politics and policy. And I think that ultimately that's what's going to drive the Supreme Court's decision, or they're just going to interpret the law as it stands and just say this is just the case. So I'm not so sure Trump is going to get the result that is desired here, which is really unfortunate. This is a win that Trump desperately needs. This is a situation that America desperately needs to fix. And again, I don't know. I listened to to Trump's team's oral arguments, and it's very interpretive and it's very political based. It's like I get the context of how they're trying to present it to the Supreme Court, but it's like, yeah, unless you agree that having millions of people come here just to have kids is a bad thing, that's kind of where the thrust of the argument here is, which I agree with, by the way. I mean, I think that's common sense. And they show the interpretation when the law was written versus how it's being applied today. And it's a totally different application. And they're saying this is never what this was meant to do. This was never what the birthright law here, the citizenship law, was meant to do. So it needs reformed. You can't just come here to have a baby. You just can't do it. You can't just come here to have a baby. Now, I'm kind of, to me, there's a little bit of a wiggle room here. And maybe you can kind of give both sides a win and say, all right, well, here's the deal. If you're born here, we can say you're a citizen, but there's nothing, you don't get any other guarantees past that. So if neither of your parents are citizens, then, that's on them. That status doesn't change, and they just can't stay here like this whole anchor baby situation. So they might be able to have it both ways. I think the Trump administration is going to take a loss on this, which is going to be so bad. And it's so funny when you listen to the Supreme Court. I think it was Ketanji Brown Jackson. And it's like, when this is the mindset, I feel like they're screwed. And she said, and I'm guessing this is where they got this headline, it could reshape immigration policy and affect millions of U.S.-born children's rights. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, hold on a second. So we all agree we need immigration reform. So we all agree we need that. And here's the opportunity to do it. And then what? We're not going to do it. And they argue, or they're asking the question and arguing this in the Supreme Court today. They're saying, well, what happens? What if this affects millions of Americans? And I'm sitting here, I'm saying, so what? I do not understand how that comes into consideration here. Who cares how many millions of Americans it affects? We're judging the law and how it's being applied, and whether or not the law as it was interpreted when it was written, and the purpose when it was written, and how it was applied when it was written, versus today with anchor babies and everything else we have going on with the immigration reform. And they say, but what about how this will affect millions of Americans? I don't understand how that comes into play here. If you come here and have an anchor baby and none of the parents are citizens, and the entire reason you came to the country was to have the anchor baby, whether you came here legally or not, why are we sitting here considering that? It's like, oh, well, what about all the people that have broken the law? Should we consider them? Since when does that happen in a courtroom? Since when does the judge say, but what about people that have broken the law? How will this decision affect them? I just don't get that. When I heard that today, I was like, whoa, we are screwed. We are totally screwed. So I don't think this is going to go our way. I don't think this is going to go Trump's way. I think the only way you can make this have a positive outcome, and I don't even know why we have to go to the Supreme Court, honestly. Doesn't make sense to me. It should just be, this is basic national security. This is basic border security. But they're probably going to have to cut some deal and say amnesty for immigration reform. And I'm not saying I like it, but I think that that's where this is going to have to go. They're going to have to say, okay, to the people that are in this umbrella that are affected by this, we'll have to find some way of amnesty. Well, we're going to have to look at this mess, find some way of amnesty, deal with that. But we have to sit here and we have to say, moving forward, we can't do this. Moving forward, we can't do this. And that's what needs to happen. And this needs to be happening in Congress. But Trump should be able to do this on his own. But then, of course, the liberals take him to court to block him from having immigration reform. But based off of what I heard today, I don't think it's going to go in Trump's favor. But it is outrageous. The whole concept, the anchor baby concept. And I think a lot of this would just go away. Honestly, I think a lot of this would just go away if you just got rid of the welfare state in all forms. If you quit rewarding illegal immigration, if you quit rewarding people that come to our country to take advantage of our liberal system and our welfare state, if you cut that out, then most of this stuff probably just goes away and you don't even have to deal with it. But unfortunately now, open borders is like a political football. And our politicians in our Congress are so corrupt that they use it as political leverage. That's how corrupt our Congress is. 4 million children have been signed up for Trump accounts, with 1 million claiming the $1,000 pilot program contribution. You know, I wonder about that. Are they down? Because since this began, since they announced the Trump accounts, the stock market is down. If you put $1,000 in the stock market when they announce these accounts, you're down. You're probably down like 10%. The whole assumption here is that the stock market is going to be up 500% in 20 years or 1,000%, whatever. Well, the stock market is down. So how are those Trump accounts doing? I'm genuinely curious here. Anybody in the chat got an answer to that? I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust a Trump account for my kids. Hell no. If I'm going to do something like that, I'd rather manage it myself. But the whole concept is, the stock market will be record highs, record highs, record highs, record highs. And it was all just a stock market pump anyway. It was all just another insider trading pump anyway. But wouldn't you be down aside from that free government money? I guess. Wouldn't you be down 10%? All right, let's get into the alien stuff. Why not? Maybe we're going to get an announcement on that today. Maybe they're going to go to the moon and find an alien. They'll need to bring a high-powered telescope or something because they're not going to be getting out of the ship. Or maybe the whole thing's AI. Who knows? Does anybody really care? Something dark is going on. 9 top-level scientists die or go missing in the past year. In the span of 9 months, 9 top-level scientists in the United States have died or vanished without a trace. 7 of them were connected to Air Force Research Laboratory or institutions it directly funds. And then it goes on here to name all the different names and their backgrounds. A lot of women in there. A lot of women in the scientific community here, but 9 now. So something's going on, folks. I'm sorry. Something is going on. 9 top-level scientists die or go missing, all or most connected to the Air Force Research Laboratory. We're talking about sensitive information when it comes to aerospace technology and United States defense and just space in general. 9 of them have gone missing. Aerial phenomenons every night. We're going back to the moon. Alien declassification. Something's going on here. I don't think this is all just a distraction. I think something real is going on. In fact, maybe the only thing real going on. Maybe the war is just a distraction. Maybe everything else is just a distraction. This might be the only real thing going on. That's how crazy this clown world we're in is. So Senator Babbitt here. Where is he out of? Australia. He shares this interview that Matt Gaetz did with Benny Johnson. And he's talking about some of the stuff that he's seen, some of the classified stuff that he's seen. And I know he talks to Anna Paulina Luna and others who have seen it. But he talks about what he's seen about alien hybrid breeding programs. I'm not going to play this clip. Here is a short pull quote from Gaetz. There is an alien hybrid breeding program. I had someone come and brief me who was in military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the locations of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniform member of the United States briefed me on that. So Senator Babbitt of Australia comes out. I wish I could say more, but unfortunately, everything I know about the alien hybrid program is classified. Let's just say some of you would be very surprised who's not entirely human. That's all I'm authorized to disclose at this time. Now, in the background of all of this, you've got a bunch of these documentaries that are coming out, like the Disclosure, the Age of Disclosure. I know, like, Fred Durst did one. I think, what's the guy from Blink-182? His name is skipping me right now. I know he did one. There's all kinds of them out here. Stephen Greer has done one. We got a Stephen Greer clip coming up. What is the deal with this? What is with the whole alien thing right now? What is with everything we're seeing in space? This is all happening at once. Yes, Tom DeLong, thank you. I mean, is it real? Is it fake? Is this to spur something else? I mean, this is clearly all coordinated. This is clearly all happening at once. So there's something behind it. There's something going on here. And then you wonder, is the moon lap connected to this? Is something else going on out there? Are these astronauts being sent into space not because of the moon? That's just a distraction. They're being sent into space to look at something else. Is there a big asteroid headed our way? Is there a big meteor belt or asteroid belt headed our way? Is there another planet in our solar system that's making its 2,000-year lap around us that's going to affect gravity and everything else? Why is this all happening right now? Are members of the administration getting nuclear bunkers because of the war or because of this? What do you guys think? Pretty big stuff, you know? Aliens, extraterrestrial life, space, the final frontier. Do you believe in space? Do you believe in aliens, guys? I don't know. You know what? I think, let me try to find the, I've got the Bongino stuff here, which is pretty wild stuff. I thought I had the Stephen Greer clip. Yeah, let me go to the Stephen Greer clip now. Because, you know, you almost feel like this is inevitable, what he's about to say. You almost feel like this is inevitable. Whether it's real or not, whether there's extraterrestrial life or not, whatever the story is, whether the Earth is round or flat or we're in a dome or there's, we're just in one small part of Earth and it's much bigger, whatever, all the different conspiracy theories. You feel like this is inevitable. This introduction to alien life, this introduction to extraterrestrial life, this global acceptance that space is the next frontier or the final frontier, however you want to put it, that going into space, data centers, energy, resources, that's the future. And the question is, can you do that organically, or do you have to have something happen to unite the world to then have some sort of a singular system, one world government system, in order to do this expansion? Which we know that they want that. They tried it with COVID and failed for the most part. I think that ended up just being, at the end of it, I'm sure they wanted to go much farther with the global government tyranny. We held a lot of that off, but they were able to kill a couple million people, which in the long run is, 1 billion people. So they were able to do a mass culling of the population. It was a big population control. They did a big psychological test on people. They did a literal actual test with chemicals injecting people. So they were able to get some success of that mission. But the larger agenda of the global government and the global tyranny through, a healthcare system, that failed. So what'd they do with aliens? So this is Stephen Greer. If you follow the UFO community, if you follow documentaries, whistleblowers, all of that stuff, you'll know that Stephen Greer is, he's considered one of the top names. He's a big name in that field. So here's what he said. And I just hear this, and you can think it's crazy because it is. But yet it seems like this is inevitably where we're going to go. It feels like we're going to see this in our lifetime. This sounds inevitable.
The big one would be this, what Werner von Braun warned about on his deathbed. He said, he said, we are going to hoax an alien attack on the planet. It's all a lie, but it will trick and fool almost everyone. So we're trying to expose that. But see, if this festers much longer with that group that have the technologies I'm talking about, in a minute, they could stage this and it would fool. Well, it had. I mean, look at what they've been doing for decades, fooling everyone. Everyone's saying, oh, those are alien events. And, our military guys chasing these objects thinks those are military, right? Well, they're not. I mean, or alien, they're military or covert aerospace programs. So the ability to hoax and attack on our planet is real. And
what would be the goal in them doing that, staging a, really false alien attack on the entire world? What would they accomplish?
They want to unite the world around a military junta, a totalitarian system. And how do you do that? How do you get one race or one ethnicity or one nation to stop fighting with each other? You create a bigger problem up there and it unites everyone against a common enemy. But in that uniting of the world in war instead of peace, they can then exert all manner of totalitarian controls. That has been a 70-year plan. I have a CIA document from 1953 or 54 stating that they can use the UFO issue to great advantage for its, quote, psychological warfare value. So once they got close and mastered the technology in the mid-50s, and they knew they were close to that in 53, 54, then what has happened is that they've started a long-term program to brainwash the public that there's a threat out there. Now, the question is, will they brainwash President Trump and other people? We're providing the information we have, but there are some devils on these deep state operations around the president, giving him the opposite perspective. So this is getting into like, well, which of these narratives is it going to be the true narrative or the false flag narrative? And when you have someone like the president who's very busy, and you have to do a one-sheeter for him, and he's doing a million things a day, it's very easy for people who are in the system he trusts, who are actually foxes in the hen house, who are bad actors, for him to take their advice.
All right. So I just figured let's hear from Stephen Greer saying that. Now, here's the interesting part to me, and this is the interesting part of this Artemis 2 mission to me. I'm not really thinking about space too often. I'm not really thinking about the moon or NASA. It's not something that occupies much of my thought process. I'm curious about the UFO stuff. I'm curious about aerial phenomenons. I have my little, curiosities there. I'll go down those rabbit holes every once in a while. It's more fun and curious than anything. All right, so it feels inevitable. Here's what I'm curious about. What I think most people might agree on now, or at least there's some general understanding of this, that whether it's Project Bluebeam or just that concept, they are greasing the skids for this train to arrive at the station. It's hard to believe anything is organic. It's hard to believe anything is real. And as I said, this could be the only thing that's real right now, or it could all be fake. But they're greasing the skids for this. Why do we keep seeing all these things in the sky now? That's happening. Can you fake that? I don't know. Maybe you can fake that. But that is happening. We're seeing new stuff in the sky almost every night now, multiple times all over the planet. And because of, you got your HD phone right here in your pocket 24/7, you can film some of this stuff. You got easily accessible social media. You can upload it immediately. So this is happening. This stuff is happening in the sky. What is it? Could it be real? Could it be fake? I don't know, but something's happening. And then you got these missing scientists all connected to it. You got Trump talking about the big alien reveal. You got multiple members of our government, other governments saying, yeah, there's something there. So you feel like they're greasing the skids for this right now. Now, that doesn't mean that they could make a last-second decision and flip a switch on these train tracks and just send the train a different direction, say it's not the time. It's like, okay, it's coming full steam right now. The big alien reveal, everything else with it, it's coming full steam. They've greased the skids. They're getting ready for the train to arrive at the station. And then maybe they kind of measure the response of this moon launch and decide, okay, deliver the train or pull the switch and send the train back around the track. We're just not ready. I'm just curious what you guys think. I'm looking at the chat here, and we're going to take a break and come back with the Bongino stuff. I'm genuinely curious about this. Aside from the whole moon launch and what they may tell us or show us with that whole thing, let's say they do an alien reveal. And I'm not talking about a government document that says we've merged with aliens or we know about aliens or different technology or other stuff that's been happening. I mean, what if they reveal an alien? Does that sound insane right now? This is not the April Fool's segment, I promise you. I'm genuinely curious. What if they actually reveal an alien? Would you believe it? Would you believe that? If they presented an alien, dead or alive, I don't know. And we've seen the hoaxes with this. Would you believe that? If they showed you images, let's say, of an alien, and they said, we visited with these aliens, they came to Earth in special technology, or they can teleport, or they whatever, would you believe it? Everybody's saying no. Everybody's saying no. And so I would wonder then, I guess maybe part of this has to do with how desperate the Trump administration is, how desperate Donald Trump is, whether they want to try to this for a distraction or, I don't know, say, look, I'm taking us to space. So people wouldn't believe it. So they could do some alien reveal as serious as an actual alien right there, or just some documents. And it sounds like people won't even believe it. And the lack of interest in this whole Artemis 2 mission, at least in comparison to past, space launches and rocket launches and missions to the moon, the interest in this is almost a nothing. It's almost a zero interest. So it's like, how much interest is there going to be if there's an alien? Are people even going to believe it? Do people even believe in this moon launch? It's all very odd how this is all happening at once, as the entire geopolitical world is about to go into a massive shift, as the U.S. is spending its like final thrust on foreign interest, blood and treasure all over the world. It's like we won't have much left after these deals. We're not going to have much left after Ukraine and Israel's interests are taken care of. It's like, how much are we going to have left? So then bringing the alien, it's like, how is this all happening at once? How much of it is real? And then what is the general interest level of the public? What is the general believability level of the public here, which seems to be very low? And then does that ultimately impact the decisions that get made as far as this reveal is concerned? Because there's no doubt a reveal is coming. They've all said it. Trump has said it. So it's coming. What it's going to look like, how they roll it out, when they roll it out, I guess is the question. But it's coming. I think we can all see. And even if they do decide to divert last minute, they can't put the claims back in the bag. They can't put these claims back in the bag. We've all seen it. But I guess it's a small enough amount, it's a small enough percentage of Americans that they figure it won't matter. They can just move on because that's, quite frankly, that's normally how it works.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Political light years ahead of the rest. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
There it is. There's the rocket. T-minus 18 minutes. And then T-minus 3 hours till Trump's speech tonight. By the way, Trump just did another press conference, so it's never enough TV time for Trump. So he needs prime time now too, by the way. There's never enough TV time for Trump. He needs some prime time. You know, I think we're going to have to make a request here, guys. I'm getting some feedback on the Clown World shirt. It's actually sold out at owenschroyer.store. The shirt I'm wearing is sold out, but the new Clown World t-shirt is in stock. We're so back, vintage Clown World. We do have that one in stock at owenschroyer.store, but the Clown World shirt that I'm wearing is out of stock. Do we need to bring it back? Maybe we need to bring it back. That's the Clown World shirt that we currently have at the storefront, though. Oh, boy, these Trump clips, man. These Trump clips are not good. Let's do this. Let's do it before we go to Bongino. It's just more evidence to me that Trump is just off the rocker, man. He's just gone. Or he just doesn't even care. He just figures just whatever. I'm already dead, so whatever. So let's listen to Trump moments ago.
Other people were fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing: military protection. Because
so there it is. Amazing. There it is. Trump admits it. We can't have nice things because we're constantly at war. Thank you for admitting it. Trump just admits that our entire country is suffering because we're at war. Trump just admits you can't have nice things. You can't have education. You can't have daycare. You can't have clean downtowns. You can't have new infrastructure. He just admitted it. Trump just said it. You can't have any of that because we're always at war. Gee, I wonder who's keeping us at war? Why are we constantly at war in the Middle East? You know, if only we could figure that out, maybe we could stop this trend and make America first a thing. If only we could stop this trend of never-ending wars and blood and treasure in the Middle East, then maybe we could have nice things here again. If only we could just figure out why this is happening. Could anybody got any idea? Anybody got any idea why we're always at war in the Middle East? Anybody have a clue as to why we've spent trillions of dollars in the Middle East and we've been at war there, blood and treasure, for multiple decades now, almost 3 decades? Can anybody give us an idea? If only we could figure that out, then maybe we could save our country. Then maybe we could have America first. But if only we could figure out why we're always at war in the Middle East and we can't have these nice things, as Trump just said. If only we could figure that out, guys. It's a big mystery, though. It's a huge mystery. We have no clue, actually. So then Trump teases what is going to happen in his speech tonight. I don't think anybody will be surprised by this.
And tonight I'm making a little speech at 9 o'clock. And basically I'm going to tell everybody how great I am. What a great job I've done. What a phenomenal job. What a phenomenal job I've done. But seriously, if you didn't have me, if you had some different type of a president, you wouldn't have Israel. I know you're big Israel fans. Frankly, and tonight I'm making a little...
Wow, that's amazing. So now he just admits it. So Trump just admits this entire administration is about Israel. Trump just admits that we can't have nice things because of Israel. I mean, wow. And then if you take him at his word there, he's going to use the speech tonight to tell everybody how great he is. I would say that's probably the case, because I think what they see happening now is there's never enough TV time. This is the most egotistical. It's insane what we're dealing with here with President Trump, round 2. It's immeasurable. So they don't understand why their propaganda isn't working. They don't understand why the approval ratings are tanking. They don't understand now why Trump has become a pariah within his own movement, this former coalition that is now shattered. They can't get it, so they just figure, let's just do more Trump TV. So that's what this is. Trump is trying to get control of the narrative. Trump sees how unpopular he is. He sees how unpopular the Republicans are. He sees how unpopular the war is. He sees that MAGA is dead. He sees that just all these different things that he was supposed to lift up, now all of them have stakes in them, and they're dying, bleeding out on the ground. So he figures, let's do a primetime address. Let's force everybody to watch me tonight, and we'll just lie to them for 20, 30 minutes, tell them everything is great, ignore your own eyes, tell them the economy is great, tell them everything's a win, everything's the best of all time, it's all me, thank you. because nobody believes it. So, I mean, if you take him in his word, I guess that's the plan. And then he gives you a little more of an insight into his mindset, which we've heard now multiple times. Trump wishes he was a dictator. He actually does. He wishes he was a dictator. He wishes he was a king because he could actually do what he wants to do then.
They call me king now. Do you believe it? No king. I'm such a king, I can't get a ballroom approved. Pretty amazing, man. I'm a king. If I was a king, we'd be doing a lot more. I'm doing a lot, but I could be doing a lot more if I was a king.
You know, this ballroom thing is a disaster, guys. It's a giant eyesore right now, and it's caught up in court. He's never going to see it. He's never going to see the ballroom. What an embarrassment. And so really, it's probably all about the bunker. I think that really the ballroom was all about the bunker. And the ballroom was just a distraction. I think they just want to build a new military bunker for the White House and the staff. But this thing is not even, it looks like it's not even going to happen. And if it is going to happen, he's never going to see it. And right now, it's just a giant hole in the ground. Right now, it's just an ugly construction site. I can't even imagine. You probably have noise the whole time, too. Construction noise. I can't even get a ballroom. He loves that ballroom, man. Man, does he love that ballroom. He loves himself. He loves that ballroom, that's for sure. Can't get enough. So let's look at Bongino's recent crash out. So I think we have to start here. The only thing Bongino can basically claim success on, as far as his time at the FBI is concerned, is the January 6th pipe bomber. Now, if you recall, Steve Baker has kind of been at the heart of this, and he was running an investigation independently about this Capitol police officer that he believed it was. And then they did like walking gait analysis, and it all lined up pretty well. It certainly didn't line up with Brian Cole Jr., 0% alignment with Brian Cole Jr.'s body structure and gait, and a pretty good alignment with the D.C. police officer. So they come out with this. In fact, let me read the document first. No, actually, let me read this document. This is the court document here. So Kirchhoff is the police officer that Steve Baker and others were curious about being involved in the pipe bombing. So this is from the court document here. It's filed today. On November 6, 2025, Ms. Kirchhoff was interviewed by the FBI and took a polygraph examination. She was asked two relevant questions. One, did you place those pipe bombs? And two, did you place those pipe bombs that evening? Ms. Kirchhoff failed the polygraph test. The FBI polygraph examiner noted Kirchhoff's very controlled reaction to the news of her failing the polygraph and seemingly rehearsed responses to examiner's questions. Failed the polygraph test. Well, I don't know if you really care too much about that. There's some other weird stuff that's coming out about this. I don't want to get too deep into the case, but this is kind of just the general Bongino crash out. His only claim to fame is the pipe bomber arrest, and most people now looking at this don't even think that they got the right guy. And there's plenty of video gate analysis that would lead you to that conclusion. Now, Steve Baker, who's been attacked for this investigation, released this statement earlier today as well. To all those who have criticized and attacked me the last 5 months, I forgive you. I do not forgive Dan Bongino or Kash Patel, and I demand Patel's dismissal immediately. Lots more to come. So this thing is heating up. This is Bongino's one claim to fame. and it's not even looking like he's going to be able to claim it much longer. So here comes the crash out. Now, if you want an idea, I think this is from 2016. I believe Bongino was running for office. I think he ran in Maryland twice and lost. And then he moved to Florida and wanted to run for office in Florida. And I don't know if that ever really materialized. But he got a call from a local Florida reporter asking about, is he going to be running for office? Now, listen to this phone call here, because I think that this is the real Dan Bongino. I think that we're seeing the real Dan Bongino now. Sometimes a real man's character is exposed when he's under pressure. So, Bongino on his podcast where he's the hero, he's the man of the hour. Now, who even knows if he wrote those books, by the way? All of those books about the deep state corruption. Who knows if he even wrote them? But so here's a phone call from 2016. I think this is the real Dan Bongino.
You wanted to run for. Oh, Dad! Why are you yelling now?
Go fuck yourself.
Oh, Dad! Is that like an offer or something? Is that an offer?
Motherfucker! You shut your mouth. Fucking coward.
Hey, Dad, do me a favor. I'll handle the questions and you handle the answers.
I'm not.
Hey, calm down.
You.
Oh, Dan, you really sound like you need some help.
Motherfucker!
I think you need some help.
Fuck yourself.
Okay.
You hear me?
Do you realize you sound like you need medication?
You don't know why. And let me tell you.
You sound like you need medication, Dan. Do you need? Maybe you need some professional help.
You have no idea. Shut the fuck up.
I think you need professional help. I think you need professional help.
Yourself. You don't know why I'm in Florida. Because
I know you're in Florida running a race and that you're losing in it by your attitude because you're swearing and acting out.
Fuck you.
And I also know that you looked at running in another district and you knew you couldn't win there either.
You. Hey, listen to
so
me.
Let's see. That's three.
I'm going to expose you now.
Okay.
And when I tell everybody the real reason I'm down here, I'm going to expose your fucking ass even more.
All right, you're free to do that, and you can continue to threaten. You can continue to threaten me if you'd like.
You're a piece of shit. Because you're a lying scumbag, and it's people like you.
You haven't even established where I lied. We've already established in the record where you've lied.
Yeah.
And now you're acting out and you're swearing.
Piece of shit. You know what? Go fuck yourself.
All right.
Well, not to give an official psychological diagnosis here, but that has all signs of a man that has serious anger issues. And anybody that has dealt with this in the past, friends, loved ones, acquaintances, there's anger. You know when somebody has anger management problems. There's very telltale signs. That's, a crash out like that, screaming and shouting and cursing and just totally losing control. That's a very clear-cut sign. And then you see some of this behavior exhibited time and time again now with Dan anytime he's under pressure. And I think it explains a lot about what's going on with Dan, and maybe perhaps it explains what's going on behind the scenes in his life. This could be something he's really struggled with in his personal life with his loved ones that they've tried to, help him with and they've stuck around him with, and maybe it was becoming an issue again. And so he wanted to go back home and try to fix it. And now we kind of see a man who just seems to be a shell of himself. And the only time he gets any attention or clout or audience, it's him involved in some crash out. And apparently now people have found his burner account. And this happens. High profile people will have a burner account on X where they can reply, say things that they normally wouldn't. Gen X girl has this expose. After getting exposed as tinfoil Terry, Dan Bongino binge posted cunt to anyone who questioned his alt account. He then deleted most of them. And the reason why it looks like he's exposed himself here, because in some of these, he's replying to his own post in his own defense. And he says, "You think I'm a loser?" As if he's still posting on his Dan Bongino account.
Be a bitch.
And then this just has a series of these instances that have all since been deleted. And it's all exactly how Dan talks when he loses his cool and he goes into these crash outs, these fits of rage, just like you saw on that phone call. And then he exposes himself with this, what appears to be his burner account, but it could, I guess, just be somebody that defends him and then speaks in the first person as if he is him. That's the only other option you have. but it looks like he exposed himself by accidentally posting in defense of himself, saying "I" when he was on his burner account accidentally. Okay, so now is where it gets crazier. And this deal is so crazy, it's like hard to even explain. So I'm going to do my best. Bongino gets into this fight with Massie. And I guess Bongino decides he thinks it's going to be some own to post about how Massie tried to reach out to him once for an interview or some media deal. And so Bongino is acting like there's some issue here, and he's owning Thomas Massie. And it's all politics as far as why they're going after Massie. It's all politics. Massie isn't even going after Bongino. So Bongino responds, and he attacks Thomas Massie, and he says, hey, look, you're the one that tried to call me. And he shares screenshots of the call. Let me actually find these screenshots, because I pulled up the conclusion here. But I want to actually go to the screenshots to give you a better context. But this is Bongino crashing out, responding to Thomas Massie in some weird deal. And he shows these screenshots. Let me see if I can find these. This stuff is everywhere. Well, I don't want to search for these all day. I thought I had them up, and now I can't find it. So here you go. All right, here's Massie's response. So they get into this little tiff. Bongino calls Massie a fraud. And then Bongino gets community noted. This post calls Massie a fraud, yet contradicts his own record. In 2023, Bongino urged public pressure on the Epstein case. As FBI director in 2025, he claimed Epstein committed suicide and no client list existed. So even the community notes are showing you Dan Bongino once said this about Epstein. Now he's saying something else. Thomas Massie pushing the Epstein button, applying pressure on the Epstein issue. So Dan Bongino attacks him and calls him a fraud. And so he gets into this issue with Bongino, calling him a liar, everything else. Okay. So Bongino posts these screenshots of his phone calls with Massie. He says, I'm frequently disappointed in politicians, but Thomas Massie defied the odds in my unfortunate experiences with him as he surpassed my lowest expectations. This zero pretends to be a principled defender of liberty, but in the real world, he supports third world tyranny. And he says, oh, here's my contacts or attempted contacts with Massie. And so Massie's like, hey, we tried to do an interview for the show. It didn't work. And then he realizes that there's something off about these screenshots. Thomas Massie realizes that there's something off about these screenshots and that Dan Bongino's timestamps are not American time zones. They were Israel time zones. The timestamp discrepancy is explained by time zone differences. Representative Massie's Eastern Time Kentucky screenshots. Bongino would supposedly be in Eastern time zone as well. So Massie in the Eastern time zone shows his calls aligning with the time zone of Israel where Bongino's device was. What? Why is Bongino's phone time-stamped to the Israeli time zone? Was he in Israel? Why was he in Israel? Does he have his phone on Israel time? If so, why is that? So Dan Bongino, in an effort to own Thomas Massie, ends up owning himself and exposing himself as either in Israel or having his phone on Israel's time zone while he is supposedly the FBI deputy director. What is he doing in Israel? Why is his phone on Israel's time? Why does he claim his number one concern is Israel? All of this is going on. And Bongino, in his anger management issues, in his total crash out, he can't control himself. Clearly, he struggles with this, I'd say, at this point. He exposes himself. He tries to expose and own Thomas Massie and ends up exposing himself. And by the way, just so you understand, that is a classical condition of anger management issues, by the way. That is like a classic case. When you study this stuff in human psychology, they talk about that. It's like you reach a certain level where your anger has you so diluted, where your rage and the chemical imbalance that causes it, it puts you into such delusion that you can't even see straight, you can't even think straight. And so here's Dan Bongino crashing out, having an anger management issue. This happens all the time, thinks, I'm going to own this guy. I'm going to post these screenshots and I'm going to own him. I'll show him, and then ends up owning himself and then ends up exposing himself. This is anger management 101 case. This is full anger management crash out case. You try to expose someone else, you end up exposing yourself. Unreal. What is Dan Bongino's phone doing on Israel's time while he's the FBI deputy director? That's a fun one. That's a fun one. Okay, we're almost to the end of the news. We're going to get to the super chats. Gavin Newsom, guys, he's going full American psycho. He's going to go full American psycho for his presidential campaign. And by the way, it's going to work, just so you know. It's going to work. Watch this.
I'm also weird. Sharon, forgive me. This is embarrassing. You can turn all that off. Just because all the noise, that we just need to turn off. And listen to this. This is it, man. This is it. You want to fix all this stuff? This is it. Listen to these guys. We're all just sitting there yelling and screaming at each other. Everybody's getting each other's throats and trying to tear everybody down. And, how are we going to get out of this? This is it. You heard these guys. Programs like this, community leaders like this. And it's like, why are we so stupid? Why can't we just get this? It's so obvious what we need to do. And so I'm just deeply proud of this.
He's doing it, guys. He's doing the American Psycho campaign. He's doing it. And yes, that's the whole purpose. You say, wait, he's talking about these programs to help California while he and his wife are being investigated for massive fraud. And you say, how can he do that? How is he up here talking about these programs and cleaning up the state and everything? And this guy's like looking like a total fraudster with his wife. It's like, no, that's the American Psycho. He sits here and he moral high grounds you. He sits here and he tries to, intellectually dominate you. And then he has the appearance of a philosophical, intellectual type guy. And he's telling you, you need to be better. And this is what's great. And then, he walks down the street and stabs a homeless person to death. He goes out to the alley, picks up a hooker and, bashes her brains in, stuffs her in the closet, and then goes back to work, does it all again. He's going with the full-on American Psycho thing. He even said it the other day. And I know it's like, well, this is crazy. This can't work. Do not doubt me. He's going to do it, and it's going to work. 110%. Why do you think the movie American Psycho is so popular? Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows it. He's going with it. It will win. Women will love it. Young men will love it. He's going all the way. That is just, it's going to be funny. I have to tell you, as just a pure entertainment value. to watch him turn into the American Psycho as a presidential candidate. That will be fun. That is going to be fun. All right, update on the James O'Keefe story from yesterday. He posted this update this morning. Are we about to launch here, guys? 3 minutes. James O'Keefe today just got out of court in Miami. The judge extended the temporary restraining order until May 11th. There will be a ruling then. The court is now asking me to surrender my firearms. See documents below. We are filing an emergency interlocutory appeal today. So it goes on to explain these laws. So I want you to understand that this is what they do. And by the way, let me go all the way. So he wants his Second Amendment rights, which he should obviously have. He gets into some of the legalese. I don't want to go all the way, but he posts this at the end. He says, this is regarding our reporting on Matt Tyremond, who I know O'Keefe is having issues with all the way back to the Project Veritas board. We published a tape of him threatening to kill me. He shot up an image of me in front of my book with a rifle bullet through my heart. And so it goes on. And he shows all this evidence, and they will not allow him his right to self-defense. So I have to tell you that this is what they do, folks. This is what they do. And I've dealt with this. I've dealt with this before, where they will engage in lawfare, and then based off of how the kind of standard procedures of the court, and if you want to stay out of jail or whatever agreements until you can get to the final case, to the court ruling, you have to sign all these agreements and do all this stuff. And usually a lot of that time it comes with sacrificing your firearms. Oh, you want to stay out of jail? Sacrifice your firearms. You say, well, I don't want to go to jail. And then, as O'Keefe points out, there's always been prior restraint, or there's always been special cases where you can make a plea to a judge. It's like, okay, all right, we agree that the defense, the client, will sacrifice his firearms as this case is ongoing, but we also would like a special injunction or whatever it's called, because you can either say, this person works in security, let's say. He's a security guard. He carries a weapon. The judge will give him a right on that. Or in a case like this or a case like mine, you can show reasonable cause or just outright proof that there is a reason why you need to defend yourself. You can show, here's credible death threats against me. And nowadays, the judges will just take your firearms anyway. I've dealt with this personally. I know other people that have dealt with this personally. Obviously, you don't like to talk about it. I think the reasons for that are pretty clear, why you don't want to talk about it, but I'm through it now, so I can tell you. They did the same thing to me, and they made me turn in all my firearms, a total violation of my rights. I should sue the federal government and make $100 million. Honestly, that's where this country should be at. James O'Keefe should be able to sue for his Second Amendment rights being violated for $10 billion. I'm dead serious. This is outrageous that you're going to sit here and claim that you don't have the right to self-defense in these cases, especially when there's credible death threats. So we presented evidence to the court, folks, multiple credible death threats. It's honestly, it's so intimate. I don't even like to talk about it. But folks, we're talking about people showing up to my house. We're talking about people mailing letters to my house. We're talking about emails, phone calls, texts. And we presented this evidence to the judge, and the judge said, too bad. So what are you asking of James O'Keefe now? So this is what they do. They create a bunch of hatred against you. They lie about you. They turn you into the bad guy. Then they engage in lawfare. Then they take your right to self-defense. Then they hope somebody shows up at your house with a gun. Get it? Get it? This is attempted murder. I should be able to sue the federal government for $100 million for violating my Second Amendment right and them trying to get me killed. James O'Keefe should be able to do the exact same thing. This is an outrageous violation of James O'Keefe's Second Amendment right. I want James O'Keefe to break the entire system because of this. So now what do? So now they want people to show up at James O'Keefe's house. Don't be surprised if somebody doxes James O'Keefe. Don't be surprised if this happens next. This is exactly what they do. And what happens next? If they can't get after they've disarmed you, if they can't get somebody to show up at your house, do you know what they do next? They do a fake police call, and they make SWAT teams show up at your house, and they have a bunch of police officers point guns at you, one finger pull away on a trigger from having you killed. It's attempted murder. And I only know this because I've been through it before. And now they're doing the same thing to James O'Keefe, and I am outraged. I am outraged to have to sit here knowing what this is like to go through and watching them do this to James O'Keefe. I am outraged. But that's what they do, folks. That's how they try to kill you. This is attempted murder. That's what this is. I'm not playing games with these people. They want to disarm you and have somebody show up and kill you. And by the way, you know, I've been putting this off because there's just so much news, and it's like I don't like talking about myself. But we did just cross the year anniversary of the swatting incident where somebody tried to have me killed. Attempted murder on my life. And the FBI's done nothing, no case investigation, no updates, nothing. So you can try to do attempted murder in this country against a political person. It's a clear hate crime, too. And the FBI won't even investigate. But if a little girl bullies a Jewish person at a school gym, full force of the FBI, full force of the DOJ, everybody going after that. But when somebody tries to have you killed, legitimate attempted murder, they're not interested. They're not interested in this, in that. As we watch Artemis 2 take off. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We've gone long here. We do need to get to the super chats. But let's do this. Let's do, I got the April Fool's Day content. So let's just do it. So here's how we're going to do this, guys. Here's how we're going to do this. I'm going to tell you a story, and then you have to figure out whether this is real or not. You have to figure out if this is a real story or if I'm making it up on this April Fool's Day broadcast. Are you guys ready to play along? Are you guys ready? You have to figure out, is this story real or not? And then I'll do the reveal. Okay. Headline. Lizzo, 37, reveals the shocking reason she didn't lose her virginity until 2020. She reveals to the Daily Mail that she didn't lose her virginity until she was in her 30s because she was too fat. Lizzo said she was too fat and disgusting that nobody wanted to touch her. Maybe they couldn't even, make it work. Lizzo reveals she didn't lose her virginity till past the age of 30 because she was too fat. Is that real? Or is that April Fool's? We gotcha. No, Lizzo claims that the reason she didn't lose her virginity until she was in her 30s was because she said she wanted to win a Grammy before having sex for the first time. She says she wanted to win a Grammy before she lost her virginity. Well, I'll tell you what, that's the story. But which one do you believe? Which story do you actually believe? How about this? Oh, I blew it. I wasn't supposed to share it. Well, that's on me. Everest mountain guide secretly poisoned climbers to trigger costly helicopter rescues as part of a 15 million pound insurance scam. Real or fake? I already showed you that line. It's real. I blew it. That's a real one. An Everest mountain guide secretly poisoning climbers to trigger costly helicopter rescues as part of an insurance scam. Wow. Okay. Are you doing any April Fool's Day gags today, by the way? They used to be fun. We used to engage in friendly, fun gags. I don't really see it anymore. I saw some stuff that was kind of funny online, but most of it is just not. It's just obnoxious. All right. Let's get to the next one here. Royal Caribbean is adding a new ship to its fleet, and it is going to cost $2 billion. $2 billion, they say. It's going to have 9 pools, a 3-story treehouse, the biggest at-sea water park. Do you believe it? For $2 billion, are they going to add a ship to their fleet? Would you be interested in that? This one is true. They are adding a $2 billion ship to their fleet. Would you go on the Royal Caribbean $2 billion ship? I have to tell you, I'm not like scared of a cruise, but it just does not interest me. Maybe I am scared. The idea of being stuck out on the ocean, I just can't. Okay, next one. The Buffalo Bills, they finally have a final price tag. They finally have a price tag on their new stadium, and they are getting ready to demolish the old M&T Bank Stadium where the Buffalo Bills have played for a long time. I think it was the oldest stadium at 52 years old. I believe that was the oldest stadium in the NFL. They're tearing it down. They finally have landed on the price tag for the new stadium, and it will be $1.2 billion. Do you believe that? Is the new Buffalo Bills Stadium $1.2 billion? What do you guys think? Nope. I'm sorry. We got you on that one. It's actually $2.1 billion. $2.1 billion. You thought $1.2 billion was outrageous. This deal's going for $2.1 billion. Gotcha. Okay. How about this one? Las Vegas. You know, Las Vegas already has trouble right now with some people feeling that they're priced out of the Las Vegas Strip. Well, how's this one going to impact it? Several Las Vegas Strip resorts will be charging hotel guests $28 per day to get access to their air conditioner. It's called the Climate Comfort Fee. So you can opt out. You don't have to pay the $28 to activate the air conditioning. It has one of those like card readers connected to it to turn it on if you want to get access to it. Otherwise, you can't change it. It's just on whatever they tell you it's on. So if you want to be able to access the AC in your hotel on some of these Las Vegas hotels, you have to swipe your card, tap your card to get access to it, and it's $28 a day. I wonder if that will turn people on or off going to Vegas. Or is it all an April Fool's Day joke? What do you guys think? Is this really happening? We got you. Made up. Not happening. Not yet, at least. So we got you on that one. We made it up. All right, how about this? You know, TMZ they've done this thing. They're paying people for photos of members of Congress on vacation. And they're snapping members of Congress at Disney World, all kinds of stuff. Well, they noticed there are 30 members of Congress right now in the same country. 30 members of Congress are in the same country. Do you know which country that is? Isn't it obvious? 30 members of the U.S. Congress are in Israel. Wow, that one's too easy, right? That one's too obvious. TMZ captures 30 members of the U.S. Congress in Israel. That one was too easy, right? Or, no, 30 members of Congress are in Scotland and apparently on government dime. We got you with that one. That was a bait and switch on you right there. 30 members of Congress are in Scotland. They won't be back in Israel till it's time to work. There you go. All right. Prince Harry. You know, they have this big love story with Prince Harry. They claim that he's head over heels for Meghan, and it's always been that way. But recent text messages reveal that he was flirty. He was getting flirty with reporters prior to that, and that maybe, the whole Meghan thing wasn't always meant to be. Was Prince Harry getting flirty with members of the media, sending flirty text messages to journalists? Not Prince Harry. Yes, he was. He indeed was. Spitting some game at reporter. In alleged messages, Prince Harry reportedly sent flirty messages and virtual kisses to journalists. Prince Harry. Well, you can't blame him, It's like the Olivia Newsy, she'll take a flirty text. She thinks that means that she can get some access, maybe get some information. All right. Kim Kardashian. Did you know that Kim Kardashian is dating an F1 driver? Is Kim Kardashian dating F1 driver Lewis Hamilton? Is that happening right now? I mean, could she possibly have another celebrity boyfriend? Is it even possible? Can you even keep up? Is Kim Kardashian dating a F1 race car driver? She is. Kim Kardashian is confident. That's the real April Fool's Day joke. Kim Kardashian is confident romance with Lewis Hamilton is built to last. She says they're in love. Sure, babe. I give this one less than a year. This one's done before the end of 2026. That's what I say. But she's sure this is the one, guys. This is the one for old Kim, the race car driver. Somebody can finally lock that down. Don't do it to Kanye. He'll be heartbroken. He already is. He's trying. Okay, Kristi Noem. We've all seen the stories. The cross-dressing husband. I mean, honestly, this story it's an April Fool's Day joke in and of itself. So Kristi Noem's husband is apparently has a secret double life. He likes cross-dressing. He does pouty bimbo photos with these big fake plastic breasts. He's got a trove of messages and stuff, so he's really into this. Well, so Kristi Noem now, she's obviously being asked about this. Kristi Noem had no idea. Kristi Noem had no idea about this husband issue of hers. Do you believe that? Did Kristi Noem really not know, or did she always know? What did Kristi Noem tell the press about the recent revelations regarding her husband? Did she know or not? She says no. That's an April Fool's Day joke. Kristi Noem blindsided by accusations. Husband Brian Noem is living a double life. She's blindsided, guys. So what? So you were just allegedly having an affair with Corey Lewandowski because your husband wasn't gay with a big pair of fake tits? You really didn't know your husband was running around in fake plastic boobs, bouncing around and messaging a bunch of... You didn't know that, huh? You're the Department of Homeland Security chief, and your job is national security. And, you need to be a little bit of investigative and, have some good, I think some good instincts there, some good intuition there. And you had no idea your husband was into putting on 44F fake breasts as a sexual kink, huh? That's an April Fool's Day joke. She said she had no idea, guys. She said she had no idea. How did this one end up here? This was probably supposed to be in the other stack. Got lost here. Deadline issued for UFO videos as Congress warns a very real threat to U.S. I think we misplaced that one, guys. Oh, well. Okay. Cristiano Ronaldo has a fiance, Georgina Rodriguez, and she decided to take to social media to talk about some of her fashion sense. And she showed off her purse collection. She has a purse collection worth $100,000. $100,000 purse collection. Does Cristiano Ronaldo's fiance have a $100,000 purse collection? Do you believe that? $100,000 purse collection. Is that real or is that an April Fool's Day joke? Well, we lied. It's actually $1 million. She has a $1 million purse collection. How is that even possible? How is it even possible to spend $1 million on purses? Somehow she's done it. Wow. Okay, last one. We all saw Jim Carrey at that award show, and he didn't look himself, and there were some rumors that he might not even be himself. Well, his ex-girlfriend, Jenny McCarthy, she still has her own claim to fame. She still has her own platform. Jenny McCarthy was asked if it was Jim Carrey or not, and she said she doesn't think it was. Jim Carrey's ex, Jenny McCarthy, says she does not think that was Jim Carrey at the award show. What do you think, guys? No, you conspiracy theorists are not so lucky. Jenny McCarthy says it was definitely him, and she was happy for him, and it was definitely him. She says, we're so obsessed with how he looks that we didn't consider how happy he looked. So, no, sorry. Sorry, Jim Carrey, conspiracy theorists. His ex says it was him.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
Well, we were having so much fun, we forgot to watch the rocket launch. I really, I'm not really impacted by that. All right, we're in bonus time. That's what that means. That's our bonus time music. That means we're going over our normal time slot, our normal sign-off time. We're going into bonus time today to do the super chats. A little something different on April Fool's Day, you know? Why not? Have some fun. We got to deal with President Trump later tonight anyway. I will be live for that. All right, guys. Super chats as we end every show. Let's do this. The Comb Kid. If you trust the government, you don't know history. Amen. First time we're seeing you in the super chats. Glad you're here. Cowpoke Ranch, the 25th and prosecution should be the only option. I assume you're talking about President Trump. More and more people will agree with you probably after tonight. Look up Mark Levin's relative, Louis Charles Levin. Oh, boy. The sleuths will be on that one now. Owen Schroyer's wifey, Clown Moon. Maybe that's what we need. Maybe we need a clown world, but like with the moon on it instead. Clown Moon. Dust Vault. Did Moon criticize Israel? What's with the new interest? Yeah. The moon said Israel needs to stop bombing the Gaza Strip and stop occupying southern Lebanon. And so now we have to go bomb the moon is what this is actually happening. Michael, nothing but dust and rocks in the moon. I think I know where you're going, but I don't want to commit. You spoil us, Schroyer. You're damn right I do. I'm glad you're finally recognizing that. Brado Jocko, lack of interest is PSYOP to prevent love for USA. The lack of interest in the space launch, you think, is a psyop to defeat patriotism? But don't they need patriotism right now to get away with all of their other stuff? I don't know if I believe that. I mean, patriotism might be down, and usually the rocket launcher to boost it. So I don't know. Teases. Oh, and finally getting back with you, my band has recorded a couple of songs just for you, if you're still interested. They're both one shot, meaning we recorded once. Links in follow-up messages from Teases. You know what? I was considering going a different direction with the music, actually, starting next week. I wasn't going to do band music like that. I was going to do another corny thing, just so you know. I'm going to stick, I'm thinking about sticking to the video game music, but we're going to do a different corny element of it. I don't want to do too much of a tease. There will be a theme. So it's like we'll be sticking with the video game theme, but we'll be kind of adding a new theme. So I'm thinking about doing that next week. It's like if I can't do all the music, I almost don't want to do any of the music. And so I just want to stick to the corny things just because it's fine in a break, whatever. It becomes this talking point. People complain. People like it. It's nostalgic, whatever. So we'll see. There might be a change next week. We'll need to look at that. If it's on your YouTube channel, Teases, you guys can go check it out. Don't show a little box. This is a family show. You with your little mustache. Cornelius Westernmost, Artemis 2, but Owen. How are they going to get past the firmament? Honestly, I never thought I would be one of them, but I've been down so many rabbit holes, I don't know what to believe anymore. I get it. Or the Van Allen belt, or the astronauts that blew up that are all professors now. Yeah, I've been down the rabbit holes too, friend. I know. It's not really what we do here, but I know. Random X letters. Hello, Owen Goyer. Just moved to Central Texas. Really enjoy here much more than California. Have you checked out Room 40 in Austin yet? Is that the, like that speakeasy? I'm not sure. It sounds familiar. I don't get out too much. I've got the places I like to go, the places where I know people that I like to go. I think, is that the speakeasy? I think I know what you're talking about. If so, yeah, I've been there a long time ago. I just know we're being lied to. Yeah, that's true. You and me, Bo. That's a guarantee. Be grateful I fixed a problem no one believed we had. Ha! Yeah, that's Trump's speech tonight. Even if it costs lives, let's go along with his lies. Jose Navarro. I made Roundup feel safe again. Oh, yes. Seems you may have links disabled for super chats. Any other way to get them to you? Would love for you to check them out for your show. Do we ban links, or that might be an automatic thing? I don't know. I've never done that. So that might be an automatic thing. I guess the best bet would for me to just go to your channel probably, or if you can somehow get them to me on X. Snake-a-roni, my German friend who immigrated here legally from Germany, had a MAGA boomer in Florida call ICE on him because he was speaking German. Really? Is it really that bad? I don't know. I feel like that's an April Fool's Day joke. Here in Austin, there's a lot of foreign language, I will tell you. Obviously, you get your Spanish. You get a little Russian. You get a little, I guess it's Indian. You get a lot of it. Show up at a sporting event. Let the people show you. Are you talking about Trump? Are you talking about me? I don't know. Seems DMT got to the subscribe star since you didn't. Shirley Maldo. What does that mean? DMT got to the subscribe star. Was there some action on there? I'll have to check that out. I'll check that out tonight. Paramount Tactical said Trump opened the strait. Well, if you read the letter from the Iranian president or leader or whatever it is, he's basically saying everything Trump says is a lie. So I don't know. I don't trust anybody. Is Trump lying? Is he lying? Are they both lying? The whole thing is a mess. I know what I'm not getting. I'm not getting America First policy. I'm not getting good results from this administration. I know that. And I know whatever's going on in the Strait of Hormuz, it's worse than it was before. Know that. Co-create with me. Breaking. Jury finds water is wet. Millions owed in compensation to all sea life. Is this, are we getting some April Fools up here? Becca Rice. Okay. Becca Rice. First time in here. A month ago, you had an episode files stir global awakening and nothing can stop it. I think the war stopped it. Now the moon. People excited to move on to the next unserious, unimportant thing. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I can't really offer any pushback on that. I mean, the only thing I would maybe say is we're not done here. You know, that's the only thing I can say is we're not done here with these Epstein files. But as far as current events and interest, obviously it's way down. It's Iran and now maybe the moon stuff, the alien stuff. So would you say then, because you're kind of entering a new realm of thought here, really. You're entering a new paradigm of thought and understanding for everything we're seeing, which is that, and I don't think it's that far-fetched, which is that everything we're seeing now is a result of the Epstein files or an attempt to distract from the Epstein files. So what will they do? How desperate would they be to distract from the Epstein files? Start a war? Launch stuff in the sky? Show you an alien? All the above? I don't think that's an unreasonable thought matrix to approach news with today, to approach these developments. I don't think that's unreasonable at all. I think that's perfectly reasonable. The tortoise attacked a stray cat. No, Don would never do that. He's very friendly. Trump talking to Sam Darnold ghosts in Iran. Sam Darnold post? What? Chatty. Iran would have to grovel and admit defeat. I don't see that happening when other countries are backing Iran, and that's not what happened. Iran called Trump a total liar. Mego von Villen. Can we stop calling it Israel and start calling it powers and principalities? I know it's a long name, but you can pronounce it unlike Azerbaijan. Well, I can pronounce Azerbaijan. It's Qatar or Qatar or Iran or Iran or all this stuff. I'd rather not talk about any of it. How about that? How about I don't have to worry about how to pronounce any of it because I'm not involved in it? Literally zero evidence Iran is a third world country. Well, they make a bunch of claims about Iran without any evidence, so that's just par for the course. Cartwheel McGee. Stephen Greer wears diapers. Is that because he's working so hard? What are you saying here? Tay-Tay. Savage is Jay, but anti-Bibi. He is out because anti-Bibi. Well, he was never anti-Bibi until recently. In fact, Michael Savage was very pro-Netanyahu. For the vast majority of his broadcasts, he was pro-Netanyahu until this war and death and everything started happening. That's the only time Savage started going anti-Netanyahu. I guess that was about a year or so ago. And he made that big statement saying the real regime change we need is Netanyahu. Which, you know, others that currently wear a Clown World shirt said first. So that's kind of ironic. I'm proud of Alex. I don't think that was easy for him. I thought it was great. I tell you, I don't watch too much at all. I really don't watch any of it anymore. But that was refreshing. I know, and I'm sure it was tough. I'm sure it was, but had to be done. Employee strong for life. What Trump says tonight matters not. Poisonous lies is all he spews. It's all about TV time. That's what I think. It's all about narrative control and TV time for Trump. He just can't get enough TV. He just can't get enough of himself. Japan is our greatest ally. We both understand culture and how important it is to preserve it. Well, the new prime minister of Japan stabbed her voters in the back just like Trump did, so they're protesting her. My calendar goes from 3/31 to 4/2 because no one fools me. No, you just fooled yourself because you missed the greatest moon launch of all time. Ken Rose, thank you. Brad O'Jacko, amnesty is the death of America. Too many. I think that's where they're going to have to go with this, unfortunately. We'll see. Half the country voted to end birthright citizenship. That's true. That's true. Ideologues on the Supreme Court are stopping it. Iron Lunatic, trust the plan on Trump accounts. The only trajectory is up from where we are. Well, not necessarily. I don't know. We'll see. Tucker 2028. Maybe it happens. Mass deportations, the only option. Alex says hi. Snakearoni. Haven't heard from Matt Gaetz in a while. Now this, well, I think Matt still does his show every night. Matt Gaetz has a primetime show on OAN. I'm pretty sure he's there every night still. I haven't heard differently, but I haven't seen any viral clips lately, so I don't know. That yacht on the plane was right. That MFer is not real. She's doing well now. Tiffany Gomez. A legend now. Guy down the street. Any thoughts on William Cooper? LOL. The pale horse guy. Well, what any thoughts? I don't know. He's an author. He said some things. I mean, what does that mean? Any thoughts? Not any right now. Shovelhead Shawnee. Aliens are more real than holding anyone accountable for treason at this point. Great. Great news. Once we get to Mars, Israel will demand regime change. We got jokes today. Black is your color. Looks good on you. By the way, for any all future wars, we need to send Lindsey Graham with a bubble wand as our decoy from the farm girl. I like that idea. Send Lindsey Graham in. Send him in on the front lines with his bubble wand. That'll scare him away. That you could defeat any armies with just Lindsey Graham, a bubble wand, and some baby oil. Do they hold up a laugh sign when he does speeches? I don't know at this point with the White House. Maybe they just feel scared if they don't laugh that they'll lose access. Bongino has truth derangement syndrome. Poor guy. Just crashing out now. Boiling Point Live. His queen, Anita, already admitted in court that they have been running the background checks on private information, including on me. Just got to finish showing the rest of their garbage next month. So this guy claims he is in court with Bongino right now. I'm not seeing it. Ken Rose, again, thank you. Dan fried himself with his receipts. Amazing, isn't it? He really did, though. Love the shirt. Any chance you make it in women's sizes, V-neck with Win logo on front left and Clown World on the back. Great show. Keep up the great work. You know what? This is going to happen. I don't know if exactly that is going to happen. Here's what I'm going to do. And we were already planning on doing it next week anyway. We already plan on adding some new apparel to owenschroyer.store next week. Some spring-themed apparel, some lighter colors, neon colors, whatever. I can bring back this shirt. I can put it in women's sizes. Maybe we can do a Win logo shirt. I do want to do an Owen Report logo polo since we don't have those on the storefront, I don't think right now. I want to do another one of those. I want to do some spring apparel. So I think maybe we can actually do something with that request. Maybe even tonight we can add the Clown World back on the store, owenschroyer.store, and I believe we have a women's version. Maybe we can add that tonight. Maybe we can add a logo on the back. Maybe we do a Win logo on the back or something like that. You say you want it on the front and the Clown World on the back. We'll consider these things. I like the idea. I like the way you're thinking here. Ty Winners, tiny hat problems call for tiny mustache solution. What in the adrenochrome withdrawal? This might be the Bongino crash out. I'm literally going through slap legal action exactly like O'Keefe. Yes, I know. I have to deal with this a lot, unfortunately. Strategic lawsuit against public participation. Yeah, I deal with this regularly. Unfortunately, it's not fun. Alex McCarthy. Old friend of mine, also friend of the show. It's the little things, the minor details for me this week. 1, Trump goes public with bunker for first time under 24 hours before the court's ruling. 2, Massie has Bongina's contact save as Daniel. Meanwhile, Bongino has Massie's, who goes by Thomas, simply as Tom. What? That's a little thing, all right. What are you getting at here? Daniel. 3, all this talk of Micro Levin, but Shabos Kestenbaum's hands are literally get smaller with every appearance. That is not an April Fool's joke. Oh, man. We will reunite this year, I have a feeling. in St. Louis, maybe sooner than we anticipate. Boiling point, Bongino tanking MAGA on purpose? No, I think Bongino's just crashing out. I think he's on his own. Game section was fun. Do it often. 56K subs on YouTube. Game section. You're talking about our April Fool's section today? Yeah, we switch it up a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if hotels, restaurants, and shops in Vegas attempted that, likely already doing it covertly. Yeah, I've only been to Vegas a couple times. I don't know too much. I haven't been there in years, but I guess 2 years. Maybe it will happen, but that was a joke. ID Pine Nuts, Happy New Year. Hey, Happy New Year. That's right. Happy New Year. Happy spring. Dropped a penny. My wife thinks the moon landing is real. Well, at least you know you can fool her with anything, right? At least you know you got a gullible wife, so you can fool her with just about anything now. So that's good for you, probably. Today is Holy Wednesday, the day of betrayal. It seems every day is the day of betrayal with this administration. No Name, great show. I'm sorry for everything you had and are still going through. Good luck to you and your family. Thank you. That's very nice. I appreciate you being here. Snake Aroni, who was in the lunch will be at FF Club. Is that a Epstein reference? PFFF, Epstein files? Is that what we're dealing with? Little duo, little combo there between you guys. Alley-oop. Can you please do a quick Google search for Louis Charles Levin and read it for your audience? I feel it's important for people to know. Well, can we do it another time? Let me see. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole right now. We're already long. So I got it pulled up here. I'm not going to commit to it now, but I got it pulled up. Owen Jones Schroyer, see you for some Trump slop later tonight. Oh yeah, we're gonna be slopping it up with Trump, I'm sure. I'm the greatest of all time. Here's a little preview. Let me give you a brief preview of tonight. Good evening, America. It's your favorite president, Donald J. Trump. In case you didn't know, I'm the president now. Look at me. Greatest president of all time, actually, is what they're saying. And this is what I'm here to talk to you about tonight. There's some fake news and some haters and losers that say Donald J. Trump is not the best of all time. But I am. It's really not even close. Eventually, I'll get that ballroom. I really don't care. They can't stop me. Just like they couldn't stop me from this war. They tried. We got the war. Just like they couldn't stop me from winning an election. We got that done. So I'm just here to let you know that the economy is the greatest it's ever been. You're doing better than you've ever done, actually. And you're safer and you're richer than you've ever been. And if you think differently, you're just wrong. You're just wrong. I know about you better than you. And you're doing great. And it's all thanks to me, the greatest president of all time. We're going to build a giant Trump library with a 30-story tall gold Trump statue. And we will be having a ritualistic offering. And you can either bring your firstborn son or some gold to offer to me. And we will build a Trump monument out of this gold. If you have no gold to give, your firstborn son will be fine. We're going to send him to Iran. And that's the deal. Greatest president of all time, Donald J. Trump. Greatest human ever. And it's nothing but success. You're doing better than you've ever done. Trust me, I know more than you. A little preview. Please stream your reaction in real time. I'll be covering it tonight. I don't think I'm going to be doing real time reactions. We're just gonna play it and then we'll respond afterwards. I don't think it's going to be too long drawn tonight, honestly. I'm thinking maybe 30 minutes, but we'll see. Who knows? He can't get enough of himself. He can't get enough of the camera, so it could be 30 hours. But we'll do it live. I'll follow up on X. Won't let me type a single letter for some reason. Thanks for consideration nonetheless. Still proud of you, dude. Rock on. Hey, you rock on. Keep making music. Never stop. Monroe County, Florida. Brian Brewer, Injunction. Go look. Next date, May 6th. Well, there it is. He's putting it all on the line there. That's putting it all on the line. Owen Schroyer's wife's Where do you guys come from? Are you guys all the same people, or do you come up with this? What's your take on Steve Bannon? That's a loaded question right there. His communications with Epstein are obviously concerning. And yet, if I'm willing to ignore that, I would say that he presents his show probably closer to reality or closer to where the American people are at than most other people in the media. So, short but sweet, the involvement with Epstein, obviously eyebrow raising and concerning. As far as what he's doing now with his politics, with his show, it's better than most other people in the media. I think he keeps things closer to reality than most others. And he was kind of violently removed from the past administration, which is odd because it obviously wasn't about Epstein. Otherwise, Lutnick would be gone. So I don't know. I don't put too much weight in other people's personalities. I don't see Bannon doing anything negative as far as the public conversation is concerned. It seems to be Bannon is a force for good in the media. But the people see the involvement with Epstein, and obviously that's concerning to say the least. So I'd say that's my response. Kick tight. Bosnians support you. Big shout out from Seattle. Hey. All right. A little shout out from the Bosnians. Like that. Space Friend. Your show is my go-to on my way home. Keep crushing it. Was wondering if you would be able to have Owen Benjamin on your show for an interview. I probably could. I could probably send him a message. We've been in touch before. We may be able to make that happen, but I'm not big. I do interviews every once in a while. We'll see. But I love to hear that. The go-to on the way home. That's what it's all about, man. That's what I want to be. I want to be your go-to when you're going home from work, from school, whatever it is. That's been my dream for years, honestly. That's been my dream since I was leaving school, listening to radio. And I always look forward to turning on the radio, the talk radio when I left school. So it means a lot. Owen's bald twin. My pick is looking 1 year into the future for you. No, my hair is doing just fine, I'll have you know. And this is just a cowlick, okay? There's no problems here, all right? I get a little trouble for the hairline. I have a widow's peak. I think we can work with that, all right? I don't want to hear that. Take that out of here. And the hair is staying. The hair is staying. So, no, we are not. The hair is staying. The hair is going longer. We might even have an entire new thing happening in June. We might take the hair to new levels in June. So no, we reject that. Employee strong for life. Today's show was great. Messed up my leg day, but worth it. We can't have that. So you're going to have to make up for that. I don't know when. I don't know how. How am I responsible? How did I do that? Hit the leg day. You don't skip leg day. Come on, you know that. Look at that. I get blamed for everything. It's no good. All right, one sneaks in before we sign off. This week, folks, Kristi Noem's husband has been found to be a cross-dresser. After these events and the removal of Kristi from the administration, an independent investigation has discovered the dog self-deleted. Oh, boy. If you know, you know. We'll be back here in about an hour and a half for Trump's speech tonight. Otherwise, the Owen Report takes a 21-hour break, but we will be live later tonight. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the super chats. God bless and Godspeed.